welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I'm Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and joined with my partner in crime, Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
Hello, I'm here.
Doing good though?
Yep, sure. I was out of town all week, so I'm recovering still, I feel like, trying to catch up on sleep and stuff.
Yeah. Raiding from a hotel is something you do often, and not exactly the best situation.
You'd think I'd be more prepared for it by now because it does happen so frequently, but I'm definitely not. Like, I opened my laptop like an hour before we're supposed to raid, and I'm like, damn it, I gotta update, I gotta do add-ons, and inevitably I change things on my home computer, and then I'm pressing the wrong buttons, and it takes me like the first, 20 minutes to figure it out. It's fine.
Then we're also joined once again by ClassicGho. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing pretty good. I was doing that hardcore tournament earlier today, and I had to take a break to come on, but that was fun. It's my first little.
What is the tournament right now?
It's a race to Wailing Caverns. It's all alliance, and then you have to get to between level 15 and 18 in 5.5 hours, and then they split you off into groups and hope for the best. Whoever clears Wailing Caverns first wins.
Fun.
Right.
And joining us once again, Scottejaye. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Thank you for having me on again. Yeah, I'm doing great. I haven't been doing a hardcore tournament today, but I think if this wasn't a WoW podcast and someone opened with, "Hi, I've been doing a hardcore tournament," it could be taken a very different way.
Definitely
just
taken
putting it out
different.
Just throwing that out there.
But no, I'm good, thanks.
I mean, maybe that's what Go meant. You never know, right? Like,
Look at his little face. You never know what he gets up to with that there.
It's a whole new meaning to the word Wailing Cavern.
Oh God.
well, yeah, it's true. That's good.
All right. Well, start off the show by thanking our Tank Patreons in Thick Lizzie and Croxford. I'd like to remind everybody we stream live on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlazinBob. That's BLAZZINBOB. We are going to have a couple listener emails. No reviews this week. We didn't get any emails, like show emails. Then we're going to talk about what we've been doing in WoW, like besides Ulduar, like, maybe Titan Room dungeons or something. Then we're going to talk news, and then we're going to talk about Ulduar and what we think of it so far. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the voicemails. And here's the first one.
Hey, Bob, this has nothing to do with WoW and Mal. This has nothing to do with WoW. This has to do with your Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm calling on the 26th of January before the Bengals game. I'm just letting you know I'm so sorry that you guys lost in a few days from now. By the time you play this podcast, the game will already be over. One of the mourn the loss of the Chiefs against the Bengals and just know that we're thinking about you. Anyways, love the podcast. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Oh, the shade.
Oh, I feel so bad for him because he's going to be so sad tomorrow when he has to eat those words, and then it plays on Monday, and it's like, oh, I mean, sorry, honey.
I guess I could start off by saying you shouldn't feel sorry for me because, this is the 5th straight year we've went to the AFC Championship. After 20 years of just mediocrity, and I was a huge fan then, as I am now. So
not just gone to the championship, we've hosted.
Yeah, we've hosted. We've won more than we've lost, and yeah, it's we're sitting pretty. Even if we did lose, we still got Patrick Mahomes, and the comparisons between Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are just kind of comical. I mean, yeah, he's a great quarterback, just like Josh Allen. He's awesome. He's unbelievable, but he's not changing the game and a budding legend as Patrick Mahomes is. So I mean, don't feel bad for us. Win or lose, the Bengals are a really good team, and Patrick Mahomes is not like his ankle's messed up, so that's definitely going to play a factor. So, you know,
I'm just making excuses.
if you
already,
guys
just in case we
win,
lose.
congrats to you. But yeah, don't feel
You're way
bad
too
for
nice.
us. We're
way too nice.
we're sitting pretty. Did you guys have any hats in the game? Did you guys? I know Scotty wears a Chiefs hat a lot of times, but
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The last 2 to 3 minutes of this podcast to me have been. It sounded like it was in Chinese. I've got no idea what you were talking about. I was just nodding and smiling.
Oh,
I'm a Steelers fan, but I haven't watched an NFL game in 5 or 6 years, probably.
that's because you're a Steelers fan. So
Yeah, because they
that
haven't
makes
been
sense.
close to going in so long. It's just like, no.
yeah, and I think the Bengals made a mistake calling Arrowhead Stadium Burrowhead. I think that's might come back to bite them in the ass. Not because it's going to make the team mad, but you're going to make the fans mad. And with the loudest stadium in the United States, you might have a problem. It might even be loudest in the world. I'm not sure. And I know it's in Guinness, and we're currently the record holder, so it's going to be loud. All right, enough football talk. Sorry, but I had to play that because I thought it was pretty funny. All right, here's an actual one about WoW.
Hi, Mel and Bob. Jumbo here. I play a mage on Earthshaker. Big fan of the podcast. I never played Vanilla or that before, or TBC or anything. I started in Cataclysm way back then. Played a rogue. No idea what I was doing. Just ran dungeons. I was on an RP realm as well for some reason. One of my friends was on that, so I picked that up. I picked up Classic when it came out. Was like, oh, the hype train's big on this. I'm going to start it, but my laptop was just terrible, overheated all the time. Wrath of the Lich King hype train, got back into it, started a mage, absolutely loving it, got it to level 80, then I started a hunter with a level 58 boost I bought on the cheap in the sale. I wanted to start a Draenei, but the boost doesn't work on that, so I've had to start with a Night Elf. I'm cracking on with that, really enjoying it. Question is, I need to get a gun ASAP, because the bow noise is so annoying. It's like, ew, thump, ew, thump. So my question is, what's the most annoying sound effect in the game for you guys? And any early pointers on a good leveling gun for myself? Cheers, love the podcast. Thanks, guys.
If you need me to translate into English, I'm happy.
First of
I'm
all,
happy to
I
do it.
love the accents that we get now. Like, that's my favorite part, and I love that Bob's muted right now, so he's talking and trying to talk over
Okay.
me, and it's not working.
Hold on. I want us all to guess the accent. I say Scottish. What
It's Scottish.
does?
Yeah,
you weren't
Scottish.
supposed to give it away. I was going to
Oh,
make
sorry.
Go and Mel do
Scottish.
it.
My camera's going mental again.
No, he sounds exactly like the guy we used to watch that did the angry Overwatch videos.
Oh God, Ragtag. Ragtag's amazing, man.
Yeah, he
Oh,
sounds like him.
yeah. Well, they're very similar to our ear, Irish and Scottish, but yeah, that was the whole like getting speak pipe. Like you like if you're overseas, you can leave a message at speakpipe.com/Warcraft Reloaded. Link in the description. And the accents are just awesome. They're just
Yeah, it's
awesome.
amazing.
So yeah,
Okay, so what
bring
is your
those.
favorite or your least favorite sound effect?
the most annoying one. I know exactly which one mine is.
Mine would be the Murloc sound, quite honestly.
Oh, really?
I find that the most irritating thing ever. But yeah,
Is it because you died to Murlocs so many times? Like, when
I
you
think
were-
it brings back bad memories of hardcore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
on Westfall
Every time you
Beach.
hear the Murloc sound, because for some reason the
Murlocs.
Murlocs can communicate from very far away. It sounds like, because you pull one and there's all of a sudden 22 little stupid Murlocs on you.
Oh, and they
trying
run
to
so
kill ya.
fast into other packs. Oh yeah, it's a hardcore nightmare.
Yeah.
Scotty's got
Um,
something for Murlocs, though, because he had a giveaway a couple months back, and his challenge was to start a level 1 tune and get a picture with a Murloc.
Oh, you remember that, dear?
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he's got a special place in his heart for Murloc.
It's like a love-hate. You know?
Yeah.
It's an awkward relationship that I've got with him.
I have a framed Murloc painting that I got from some comic book place. So yeah,
Scotty was raising his hand to talk.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I want to go to the toilet. I need to turn off. I was trying to do it slyly without anyone noticing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so animated. I always talk with my hands, so I keep activating gesture control. But I'm turning it off now. That will be the last time you see me raise my hand to speak.
Go. What's yours?
So I don't play with in-game sounds, and I think it's because
all?
like the error speech. Yeah, I think that killed it for me. Like just hearing,
Well,
I can't cast that yet.
But you can turn that off though. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I turned it off.
Instead of individually turning things off and figuring that out, I was like, nope, select all. Like sound's gone.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
God, I do
hear
so
that.
There's
much
a lot of like sound
through
cues
sound,
that really
yeah.
help.
I do
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
through sound cues.
It's
Listen,
I have certain effects on. I don't have the music, the ambience.
Yeah,
I don't have any of
the
that.
music
I don't
or
have
anything.
music. Yeah.
it
Yeah,
always
just-
sounds
like
weird
sound
when I turn it
effects.
on. It's cool.
I'll never
like,
forget when we started, I think it was TBC, and I sent out a prayer of mending, and Yip was tanking, and he was like, "What is that annoying sound I keep hearing?" And then we watched his stream, and it was like he had his like sound effects turned like really high, and it was just like this bing, bing, like, every
ting,
time.
ting.
And it driving him insane. So that's my favorite sound, naturally.
yeah.
What's your most hated?
I mean, it's like a love-hate relationship with the GTFO sound because it tells me that I'm in something, so I appreciate it, but it's really freaking annoying. And I think that's the point. I think it's supposed to be annoying.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
about
That's
what
not
about
even-
what about the Thorim RP at the start? Because I'm not being funny. If I hear one more person on Discord say "in the mountains," I'm done. I'll come
I
don't think I've
back
heard
in
that.
talk.
yeah.
What is
I'm
that?
glad
I don't
have
even
it
think.
turned on.
You'll know now. Now I've pointed it out.
Man,
You'll
come
know.
on. Like something you didn't notice before, and now you can't even.
Yeah,
not
you won't be
unsee
able
it. You
to
can't unsee
exactly.
it now. Yeah. Damn it.
I guess a good runner-up would be choo choo chugga 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 choo
Oh, I love that.
chugga 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 chugga. That would be a runner-up. But the one in Wrath that's the most annoying for me, and I only hear it when I tank, and I don't know what it is. I've asked chat. Nobody'll tell me, but it drives me nuts. But it's like, and I only hear it when I tank. I don't know. It's something someone's putting on me or something, but it's like.
Are you playing Star Wars: The Old Republic by any chance?
No.
Get a lightsaber.
Is
It's
it
like-
Sacred Shield then?
I don't know what it is, but it drives me nuts.
It's probably Sacred Shield procking. That makes a similar sound, and it'll proc every like 6 seconds.
Yeah, sometimes it just procs all the time. Oh, is it Pally
Or
Beacon?
Beacon, yeah, or Beacon. It'll be Beacon or Sacred Shield. Definitely
Yeah.
Paladin related.
Yeah, that's why I
I'm
hear
on
it
the
when I'm a
Pally.
tank because I always have Beacon on me probably.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Okay, I did remember one in-game actual sound that I really hate though, and it's the stupid like mechano bird noise when you're on your mount.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's
who rides those? Is it gnomes or
Gnomes.
something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Mechano
I made a
Striders.
gnome and I got a mechano strider and I was like, nope, I'd rather walk. Like
I
that
love that
is
noise.
legit the most annoying sound I've ever heard in my whole life.
It's amazing. I used to play
No.
gnomes all the time, and I would
I
love
mean, I
getting
like
on my mount.
gnomes,
Yeah.
but I found out somebody luckily told me that I could turn that sound off, so I did, and then it was fine.
Yeah, you can think there's a bunch of videos of how to get rid of that sound completely. But
Yeah, because everybody knows it's the most annoying sound in the world, except for Go.
all right.
He's having
The few
rage
sounds I
parties,
do like.
7
yeah.
hardcore parties at Waywing Cavern, so
Everybody
let's
else
just
hates
take
them.
his opinion with a grain of salt.
All right.
Don't judge.
What have you guys been doing besides Ulduar? Like anything? Ulduar takes a lot of time.
I've
Nothing.
been leveling enchanting on an alt. And that's
Really?
horrible. It's terrible. So
Why?
I have 2 level 80 druids. This one's 73 on the same server. And it's going to be an herb enchanter because I'm tired of like tipping people in trade chat. I can never catch the guild enchanter when he's online. It's like
now you
as
could
soon
just
as-
buy them.
yeah, but they're like twice as expensive. It's like
Oh.
if I bought the mats, it'd be like 350. If I bought the thing, it'd be like 700. So I was like, I need to just level up another druid and have an enchanter.
See, that's all I use my enchanter for is for my enchants. I could make a lot of money if I
Well, you did at the start
put
of
in a little
the
extra effort.
at
Yeah,
the
when
start
there
of the
wasn't anything to
expansion. You
do.
made a lot of money.
We were next.
Yeah, it's taking a lot longer to level up enchanting than I thought it would. I've ran so many like Strathholm runs, Ramparts runs, old dungeons like Scarlet Monastery. I'm making a little bit of gold while I do it, but it's just to get BOEs to disenchant because I'm not buying anything off the auction house. I'm like, I might as well try to like farm it all up, so I'm not spending 5k gold to level this up. But yeah, it's taking forever.
And I mean, it's pretty fast if you can work it up. Like if you can do the dungeons with the tune, you're actually working up. But it sounds like you're sending BOEs over. See, if you're just doing it on, a character that you could just solo everything with, it's super fast.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've done much outside of that. I've been trying to just farm gold so I can buy a Valinir. I missed the opportunity to get the first one from the GDKP I'm in. I got outbid. I got up to 120k, I think, and then they outbid me to 123, and I would have had to go 126, and I was like, nah, you can have it. And now I'm like, okay, I need to farm more gold in case the price goes up the next time because I'm getting one. I don't care what tune it is, how much gold
Funny,
it
'cause he'll
costs. I'm
probably
getting
ended
one.
up spending like 150k just because he wouldn't go to that 126 that
Yeah.
time. He was like, no, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
But by farming, do you mean going on a particular website, or do you actually mean like farming?
Oh, I mean farming. I don't website. I
Oh.
don't swipe the card now.
No, never. Of
That
course
sounds
not.
horrible.
Because the payment's not due up front. It's not like I have 120k gold on one tune right now. It's like per shard. So it would have been like 4.2k per shard if I would have like bid up to that. And then like I can handle that. Like 12k a week. If I got 3 shards, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Then but you're gonna pay for it, and then it's like gonna just stop dropping shards. You're gonna go to like 6 of those same DKPs, and no shards are gonna drop.
That's what's happened.
Sounds like a trap,
we didn't
though.
have one the first week. So I'm like, yes, I'm glad I didn't like hype myself up thinking I was going to get it really quick. Like some people like Scotty have told me, oh yeah, you're going to have a Valinir in like the first 2 months. No.
God, no.
Shards will not
I
drop.
don't think I've had particularly great luck with shards, and the minimum I'm going to finish on this week is going to be 8. But
That's a lot better than ours.
it feels like I'm just not seeing them. For the amount of hard modes we're killing, I don't feel like I'm seeing enough. But I'm extremely impatient, and I want Valinir next week. So
Yeah, shards
Where are
have
you guys giving
definitely been
Valinir
a
to?
little bit. Scotty.
Oh, Scotty's getting it. Wait, what?
yeah, Holy Paladin.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I'm the priest. I don't get it. It's fine.
I think going Holy Paladin and being the guild leader, there was never going to be much argument, was there? Let's be honest.
The
Might have
argument
been a
was,
little
were you gonna
strategy
get-
there.
Ret Paladin and
the-
still
the-
get it himself.
The
Yeah.
argument was about who was going to get it second.
That and which tune were you going to get it on? Your Druid or your Pally? Like your
Yeah.
Resto Druid or your Pally?
I've been trying to get it on both, but they apparently think my ult is not important as somebody else's main. So unfortunately,
Weird.
I'm only going to get one. I know there's something wrong with them. And they also
Rub
mentioned that
council.
I'm feral, and I was like, well, yeah, but what about
Come
when I pop out and trank, to help the raid? Like, no one going to talk about that?
Innervate still,
Yeah.
like,
No one cared, Mel. It made me feel really bad.
oh man. Like, if you gave me Valinir, I would maybe consider going Resto.
No, it would take a lot more than Valinir for me to go
Yeah, but
resto.
you just gotta say consider, you
Well,
gotta
yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
see? Come on.
Yeah, I'll try it. I'll try it in the next the next guild meeting. I'll see what they
Yeah.
say.
Oh, but yeah, we've done heroics. Some of the Titan rune dungeons. I still really struggle to call them that, but it still really makes me chuckle when people don't realize to click the little orb. I'm like, we've been in this long enough now.
Yeah, they're
That's
always
me.
trying to click the circle. They're
I did
just
that the
standing there
first
while
day.
4 people are channeling, and they're just like turning back and forth. It's like it's right
My
there.
God.
It's right here. It's right here. Yeah, I've basically just been raiding. You go from 2 days a week, 1 day on each character, clearing everything, to 4 days a week between the 2 characters in 25 mans, and 2 days a week in 10 mans between the 2 characters, and all of a sudden I'm raiding almost every day. It's pretty crazy.
And trying to do dailies and stuff. It's like, man,
Yeah.
I don't have time for this.
Are you still doing tier 7? Like, I mean, I've done probably 4 or 5 Nax runs this week as well.
Mm-mm.
No, we
No.
did one week
We
one.
skipped. Yeah,
the
we did a
Tuesday
skip.
before it came out, and then we've just been like, no.
We've had people ask to do at least Sarth for the mount, but we haven't gone back yet. We've been trying to focus on like the progression and stuff still for hard modes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So all of,
We have such a big server. They can go to a pug or a DDKP and do it's so easy that it's just like, nah, we're not going to do it.
it was being sold for like 1,500 gold. Like, yeah, it's cheap.
But we mainly just do it for like alt casters that still need Dying Curse, KT weapons, Safnek. That's pretty much it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the 3 drakes is going to be so easy and like super puggable real soon. So it's not really going to be a thing. Oh yeah. Just been doing some heroics, some dailies. I haven't been able to get out to do the TOC dailies just because there's just too much to do between all of the characters, and so. But had pretty good luck so far on my combat rogue. Second raid, I got Malice and Remorse, so non-hard
Nice.
mode, Biss. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So been having some pretty good luck there. Been getting a lot of hard mode Biss. My tanks got a few actual Biss stuff. It's kind of nice. The tanks, a lot of just the regular stuff, Biss for the tanks. So kind of, or at least for warrior tanks. So kind of works out that you can get geared pretty quickly. But yeah, just been doing that. Not really a whole much extra to tell. You guys, like, Scotty, what do you think of the heroics? Have you been doing those at all?
I don't need emblems already, so it's like kind of pointless. Unfortunately, because like I don't mind them, to be honest. I've been doing them. So anyone from the guild that's watching knows I give a lot of shit to rep paladins and warriors, but like in the guild, I'm not talking on YouTube. I mean, just in the guild, I give a lot of shit to rep paladins and warriors, and I've been absolutely loving rep since I got my hard mode weapon for off spec, like on my paladin. So I instantly was like, got the crafted belt, crafted boots, just got stacked. I need one more piece of tier for off spec as well, and I'm loving it. Like doing the heroics as ret is a lot of fun. But then as soon as you're doing something single target, it's like, ugh, just getting stomped on. But actually, like just smashing through them, as ret. So that's all I've been doing it as, really. Like, but not every day. Just if someone in the guild is looking for someone and I can get in as ret, I go as ret. Otherwise, I don't bother.
Yeah, it's always pretty funny for me because we'll be doing the start of Thorum, and the rep pally is like on the top, until Thorum comes down. I'm like, hey, rep pally, there you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On multi-target, it is just so much fun. Like I was it today? No, today I was on a Druid. Yesterday I went Nax, or maybe the day before, whatever. This reset, I'd done a Nax 10 as ret, and I'd done all right. Like literally, we had a fairly decent group, warlocks and everything, and there was even some single target bosses where I was top. But yeah, it's still not. When I say top, I don't mean like massive amounts. I'm talking like 7K, which by at the moment standards, that's nothing, is it really?
Yeah,
It just feels fun. It's frustrating. So like you're looking at your screen and you're seeing loads of numbers and you're seeing crit constantly, and you're like, oh my god, like, I am literally pumping. And then you look at details and you're like, 2K. How is that even possible? I mean, I just saw more than that. You know, like it's fun. It's fun, but it's not something. As I say, there's a joke. Obviously, I was our main tank for tier 7. Like phase 1, I was our main tank, and our main holy paladin like quit the game. And our old main tank from private servers came back at exactly the same time. You know, as one holy paladin quit, we had a prop paladin that wanted to start raiding with us. So it was like, well, I'll just go holy and I'll replace the holy paladin, and now our old main tank can carry on being the main tank. But then obviously I've took loads of shit from that, because they're like, you know, obviously I've re-rolled for holy, so at the moment they're scared every time I go ret, because they're like, he's teeing it up ready to get Shadowmon. You know, it's like, it'll say for a few weeks he's really enjoying ret. Come middle of talk, it'll be like, oh, he'll put a hit out on one of the ret paladins, get rid of those, go and find another holy paladin. Like, go. You wanted to come and join the guild as a holy paladin from tier 9 onwards? All right, cool. I'll go ret. You know, so at the moment, I
could just see the ret in your guild just being like, gulp.
we like, so we've got Eerie. Eerie's our ret paladin, really good ret paladin, you know, 99, 100 passer, like on every boss. But I don't think he's even seen a 25 man with us yet, just because you know, their damage on all of these DPS check fights like Steelbreaker, you know, Hodir. I mean, mainly those two, to be honest with you. There's just I've been struggling getting rets and even warriors, like even in our raids.
It's a bummer, man. It's a real bummer.
It is when they're really nice people and good players. You know what I mean? They're like, we've got 2 warriors, both of them amazing guys. We've got 1 ret paladin, again, amazing guy. But it's like, I'd love to take all of them, but it's just, what, you know, why make things more difficult for ourselves when we've got other options that just bring more damage?
Yeah. See, we still take two warriors and a ret paladin, so we're definitely handicapping ourselves a bit. But you know, we're semi-casual guild. You know, we didn't PTR at all or anything. So
is that 2 DP? Well, I say DPS warriors. You know, 2 warriors that are trying to do damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got 1 tank warrior, 1 DPS warrior, and then a ret pally for us too.
Yeah, but we've got an arms warrior, but we run like a flex system. So because we've obviously got more than 25 people and we're only doing alt raids at the moment rather than actual splits, we have like a buddying system now where the combat rogue and the arms warrior buddy up, and whichever one of them needs loot from a specific boss, they leave, the other one gets summoned in. You know, so they both get raid time, and we're keeping the 4% physical damage taken buff. But yeah, we're not having to take both.
Interesting. See, well, Combat Rogue's still doing really good though. Like, whereas Arms is like, eh.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess maybe Arms does better in cleave fights. I don't like. Got to be a really good Arms warrior to shine. But
well, as soon as our warrior's got 2 decent weapons, you know, he'll be going Fury, and we'll keep him in as Fury and obviously the Combat Rogue. But until then, it's like, oh, he's only got 1 weapon. What can you do?
Yeah, it's a bummer. All right. Well, anything else before we move on to the news?
Nope.
No, let's go.
All right, let's move on to raid progression with Yip, and this is going to be new. I believe are we just going to talk about hard modes, or what's the plan here?
Yeah, I'll go through if we're doing anything different on a couple of bosses, which we are, and then pretty much skip anything else that's like normal mode and doing it like normal mode.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we definitely, what's his name, Ignis. Doing that way different than the beginning. All right. Well,
big update.
For anybody that doesn't know, this is Yip, aka the Yip Show, and he is a founding member of the podcast, and he's coming back for us on a weekly, possibly bi-weekly, depending on the week, raid progression segment. So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, and it could just be this week if next week we become the world's best guild and clear everything in 2 hours from now on. That could happen. Who knows?
Definitely.
But yeah, so the game plan for this week is only week 2, right? It feels like I've raided Ulduar 18 times, but I guess this was only week 2.
I was talking to Scotty and everybody, and I was like, oh, we haven't even raided 2 times on our alt raid because we're doing that tonight. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, it feels like a lot because we went from 2 days a week to now 6 to 7 days a week raiding.
Yeah, I mean, when you're one-nighting Nax in both raids to now 2-nighting Ulduar in both raids plus 10 mans are happening again. It's
I guess
it adds up.
I didn't really talked about this before, but I didn't really understand how important 10 mans were going to be comparatively because of the hard modes and the 13 eye level bump. Like, it's very important.
Yeah, it's also been good for like exploring the hard modes as well too, I think, but we'll get into that. Let's start out with Flame Leviathan because I think this is one that is, I don't know if it's like why aren't we doing this one, but we're not trying Flame Leviathan yet, mainly just because of how long it takes. Like if you go through and wipe and then wipe again and you're still on the first boss after like an hour, it's kind of like it's hard to plan the rest of the raid out. And if you reset it to normal mode, not the trash. So you can I think you can keep trying hard mode like without doing the trash. But if you want to reset it back to normal, I think you do have to like do the trash again. And talk to Bran. So that's like our biggest concern for Flame Leviathan. We'll definitely get to it, but I think it'll probably be easier once we do it in 10 mans first and people know what they need to do. But for now, I kind of like just blasting through Flame Leviathan.
Yeah,
and just kind of getting through.
I said that our raid lead said we weren't going to do it because the gear was wasn't that good. And a warlock in chat popped up and was like, only 2 bis warlock pieces. I was like, hey man, dude, I'm a combat rogue and the fist drops from there. So calm down.
The big thing is like we don't want to spend too many nights going way over our raid time in order to do prog. So this week's plan, we didn't kill Thorum hard mode week 1. We were very close, but we kind of like grinded our faces against it. And then the second day we had 2 additional melee because 2 ranged called out. So we ended up having like 12 melee and we're like, everyone's going to get chain lightninged. This is kind of wild. So, this week we had a little bit better of a composition. We picked up a trial warlock, which was super useful to have an additional warlock in there. But also one of our mages sat, so it didn't really change that much. But our goal was to kill Thorum hard mode, and then we wanted to do Freya and Yogg +1. So in the 10 man the night before, we were able to do Freya and Yogg pretty easily. And it seemed like the mechanics aren't so much to learn that like prog was going to take too long, or we would know like what the issues were right away. So that was our game plan going in. We wasted a little bit of time early on. I might have jumped off on Kolagharn once, you know.
We didn't even know you could do that. You could walk right off the edge.
Yep, you can just, and I have like this horrible fear now. Every time I see him and I see the edge, because normally I'm like, oh, I can't walk off that edge. You can walk off the edge.
No invisible wall.
It definitely freaks me out now tanking him, but as far as anything else that we changed going in, Ignis was the big one. When we first got in.
Real quick, while you're on Kolagharn, I want to ask the community, tell me where I need to stand to cleave, because I cannot freaking figure out that fight. I mean, like, I've tried it in the armpit, like all kinds of stuff. I can't seem to cleave correctly, so somebody help me, please. All right, that's all.
Yeah, someone send out a picture guide of where we all need to stand. That'd be useful. So we changed a few things, and then we did the medium. We attempted the medium mode of Iron Assembly as well too. But for Ignis, the big thing is that we're just ignoring the construct mechanic now. So everyone is just stacking behind the boss, and I hold it at the water, and then our off tank just picks up all of the constructs. And there is like a increasing damage buff on the boss or something like that, and I did get smashed at the end, but that seemed to be the way to go. Seemed a lot easier that way and simpler, and it lets people pump way harder, not like feeling that they need to move around or like they're afraid they're going to get hit by something.
Yeah,
So that was definitely
nice.
the big difference. Yeah, and as a tank, that's definitely doing the 4 corner strat where you're like putting flames on 4 different corners is definitely more annoying than any other fight. I feel like, so I'm happy to turn it into a tank and spank, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely very easy to do it that way on 10 man, and like only like 4 constructs come out. 25 man might be harder if you're like, you don't have a lot of DPS if you're down people. We'll probably have a better idea tonight in the weekend raid where our DPS isn't as good and we're sometimes down people. But definitely,
we got a chunkier tank though, right?
We do have a chunkier tank.
Warrior Pride.
My prop paladin is just as geared as my main now, so it all my second prop paladin, so it all works out. We'll have a good comp there and be fine tonight. But anything else different? Nothing else different. We're afraid to try XT. That might be one that we can do eventually. We might have the damage for it in our weekday raid.
We tried it. It's like for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. We got told on 10 man. We were doing 10 man last night. That you need to like get him to 75% for the heart before the first like pummel thing he does on the ground, and we were not quite there with that group, but I don't think it was like an ideal group. So maybe in 25 man it'll be slightly more forgiving, but the mechanics of it aren't that hard. Like there's not that much new stuff going on. I don't know that to, like do things right and then kill it.
I don't know that anybody's dropped it yet.
I think there are
on 25.
There's a couple of people, I think I've seen logs of people killing it now. But it is definitely, well, there's 2 reasons. One, the really good guilds all skipped it, I think. And because you don't need it to get the Algalon. So there's really no reason for like a world first to go do that on hard mode. But yeah, I'm not in a hurry to do that. I think the damage is like similar to what you need on Hody or something like that. So we'll get them. It's not like the end of the world. But then we got to Iron Assembly and we wanted to do the medium mode, which lets you it drops the like quest item that you need in order to unlock the Alkalon's key. It doesn't give you extra loot. We were kind of hoping it would give you a 252 loot, but it doesn't. The medium mode is just killing the Rune Master at the end. It actually was harder than we were expecting, I think. We've been kind of like not super prepared on some of these hard mode mechanics. So like we didn't prepare for the elementals that just explode and kill everybody when they come out. It was definitely more reading the guide of what it says, like, oh yeah, it'll occasionally spawn a summon of elementals you have to kill, is a lot different than like they're gonna explode and kill everybody instantly.
Murder you, just like the Freya ones. But they explode on contact.
Yeah, they explode on contact, which is interesting. But luckily, that wasn't too crazy to figure out. I think we just frost trapped where the rune was coming in, and then we just ran and killed them. So it wasn't too crazy. Still a little afraid of doing Steelbreaker last, but that might be one of the ones we try sooner than later. I think a lot of it just comes down to making sure we're like managing our cooldowns well, and then we just have to pump in that last phase where we're killing Steelbreaker. But it seems possible, and people are getting it down.
So I was talking to Scotty, and he had said, like, Go asked if the order mattered, and Scotty said, yeah, and I said, no, and he goes, yeah, in the sense that you for sure kill the big guy first and the small guy second if you're doing medium mode. I was like, hey, that's what we swapped to, and he's like, yeah, you don't do it the other way. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the big guy definitely is he causes some problems with that fusion punch of his. So we'll probably be attempting that in the next couple of weeks.
Scotty said it took him 12 hours of a prog the first night.
I can see that.
Yeah, he said it just like they'd be doing everything perfect, and then a rune would spawn right underneath, right before fusion punch, and boom, the pally's dead.
Yeah, I mean it is a very fickle fight. That's why I'm not too concerned about like just going and getting some more gear before we tackle it. And I think that prog is just like no one has it in them for those kind of nights in our guild. We're not about to go prog 9 hours to get a hard mode down. And there's definitely like guilds that aren't, I would say, like they're not a ton better than us that are clearing a lot of hard modes, but you just need to know everyone needs to be on the same page about fights. And then, yeah, like being willing to beat your head against some hard modes is important, but we're just trying to limit how much we beat our heads into things. But then you get to the next hard modes, which are like the keepers, and Hodir, a little out of reach still. I think we really have to like plan our strategy as far as like making sure the right people are pumped up for that. And it might take like a couple of wipes if things don't go the right, like intentionally wiping if we're not doing enough damage. But again, like not one I'm in a super rush for, because the more gear we get, the easier that one's going to be. So spending a ton of time when it's not really, there are like some specific mechanics to it, but it's not like, oh, we're all standing in flash freeze still. We'll win if we just stop doing that. But yeah, so, you know, Hodir's Hodir. But then when we did finally get a better attempt on Thorum, I'm not sure, do you remember how many attempts we had before we got down hard mode? We definitely killed him, but we weren't there too long.
I don't remember. It wasn't many this time around. Like it was maybe 5, maybe 6.
I'm going to find out very soon. Thorum, yeah, so we wiped 4 times, and they were all like pretty good attempts, 22%, 19%, 19%. So we were like, okay, we can definitely do this.
Yeah, well, I mean,
just need to keep people alive.
Yeah,
at the beginning.
We were dying. Like, you know, for anybody who doesn't know, didn't hear last week, we have three melee groups. So we're standing in a box instead of a triangle. So if one of the groups is just a little off, I mean, you're gonna get like reamed, and so that's been the hardest part for us.
Or if a range like gets too close to one of the melee groups, like they can just be zapped.
Yeah, that's just one of the crazy differences between, you know, you see all these other guilds and they talk about Thorum being easy, but only if you have the right comp, and that's a lot of ranged, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It would definitely be a lot easier with more range if you don't have to think about like melee just getting obliterated. But we were occasionally losing a couple of people pretty early on, thanks to either the lightning or just people getting like obliterated from the frostbolt volley plus his like lightning cone that he does. But we got it figured out pretty quickly, and then we were able to get him down, which was definitely exciting. That was the end of our night, and we wanted to leave just Freya, General, and Yogg up so that we would have plenty of time to prog on Freya, and then hopefully plenty of time to prog on Yogg on that second night as well too. So that second night, we went in fresh for Freya. We had done the 10-man mode, so felt pretty confident that we had like an idea of like, okay, we have to stun them and push them and then kill them. Like, hey, we're figuring it out. A lot harder on 25-man mode. Definitely quite a bit harder. As far as like the new abilities that you have to watch out for, I'm assuming anyone listening is like familiar with just normal mode. But on the harder mode, not only does everything have a lot more health, which you kind of run into a problem with the elders just having a ton of health at this point. There's also the ground tremor that we were having issues mitigating as well. The ground tremor does damage to everybody, and it's a pretty large chunk of damage to everybody, so it's pretty easy to combo out with some of the other stuff that's going on. If a ground tremor comes out at the same time that like a sunbeam hits a lot of people, like a lot of people are going to end up dying. So what we ended up doing was having divine sacks just rotating. We have 4 to 5 paladins depending on the night, so it was pretty easy for us to rotate those raid divine sacks and get that damage cooldown. I thought our biggest issue was going to be with detonators, but after a couple of pulls, we were pretty okay with the detonators, having enough like warlocks and people to push back. I think we had 2 boomkin because Mira, our feral, went boomkin for it. We had plenty of pushback, and we just had to kind of practice not dying to them. We did have a lot of issues getting comfortable with the trio, the Storm Lasher, Ancient Water Spirit, and Snap Lasher. The Snap Lasher does a lot more damage in hard mode 25. So normally we were just having the off tank everything, and we would just kill it all, and it dies pretty quickly. But because the stuff is dying slower, he's able to do a lot more damage, because every time the Snap Lasher gets hit, he does more damage. So we ended up having a DK Icy Touch and just kind of kite him around, and we'd have people throw stuns and have people do their chains of frost. And that seemed to be going well. We stuck Bob and I think a shaman on each of the tanked mobs, and they were just kicking. That was super important. People died pretty much every time a kick couldn't go off or something. We learned that pretty quickly.
And the difference between those two mobs that me and Kabosh, the Shami, were locking down is in 10-man, I had to kick like once or twice when they were up, and that was like it. So I could switch to other things and DPS other stuff. In 25-man, that, like, I'm pretty sure Kabosh had the same like casting rate, but that water elemental or whatever it is, like I was having to use kick, then in between use kidney shot, then back to kick, then back to kidney shot. Like I was having to kick a good having to stop him from casting a good 7 or 8 times per attempt, where on 10-man it was like 2 times.
Yeah, and it's really important because again, they do these AoE abilities. One's a conal, the tidal wave from the Ancient Spirit, and then the Storm Lasher I think just does like AoE. Or like chain lightning type effects. And then you couple that with that ground tremor that I was talking about, then people start getting comboed out, and you sort of need everybody.
And then the lights. The lights and the freaking roots. Like I got rezzed. On one of the attempts, I got B-rezzed right into a light, dead. Then I got B-rezzed, instantly rooted, dead. I was just like, somebody shoot me.
That's so lucky. But yeah, so the other two they became a bigger problem on when the elders were out. So there's like the solar flare, which is separate than the sunbeam that comes out. It basically just creates 3 pillars that stay on the ground, which like normally if you're doing like the detonators or whatever, it can be annoying while you're stacking. You got to make sure you move. But for the most part, you can kind of move around them. But the problem with the Elder is that there's just so much stuff going on when the Elder's out. You have Nature's Fury where people have to run. You have mushrooms that everyone's trying to stack under. And then you have sunbeams coming down, the pillars coming down, the ground tremor. And then the DPS check is actually really tight for us. And maybe that just has to do with like how much we've practiced it. But we had to use cooldowns in order to get the Elder down before the next pack came out. And it was like tight if things weren't going right.
Oh, yeah. And initially, lots of the ranged was even standing with the melee, like in the same mushroom. And then, like, if the stuff comes down, you're just like the whole raid's taking a ton of damage then.
Yeah. If you get a pillar coming down on everybody, it's just absolutely insane. Elder is definitely, well, let me give the spoiler. We did not kill Freya, but we did prog from like, it's no chance we're killing Freya on the first pull to, we're definitely going to kill Freya with like X amount of time. We needed a couple more pulls, but it was already getting kind of late. We pulled her for probably like, we pulled for an hour and 15 minutes, almost an hour and a half probably on Freya hard mode.
It felt like an hour.
Yeah, well, I remember he kept getting pushed, and eventually Heartscare said 10:45 or 11:45. And then I think we did like one more attempt after that or something.
Yeah, because we got real close. And then the last attempt, I mean, we got her to like 60% health and then died to the nature bomb.
Yeah, the seeds were really hard to see when we got her into phase 2. Yeah, the seeds were just hard to see. There wasn't much we could do. I think people were ready for them, but with how much stuff was just going on, that we just lost half the raid. So there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do when you reach that point. So next time we get to that phase, which was our 15th pull, is when we got to phase 2. So it did take quite a while. We had a total of 16 hard mode pulls, and then we just did it in normal mode. And yeah, we got the normal mode killed at midnight, so that was an hour and a half in after we start raid. So we definitely put the time in. The nice thing is we went back to 10-man the next night, and it felt a lot easier because we had practiced so much on the 25-man. That 10-man felt way easier. So as two people who need weapons from Freya hard mode 10-man, I think we're happy to that is going to be clearable. I think anytime we have like a pushback and a warlock stun, we're using Shadow Fury. I think we'll mostly be able to get that down.
Yeah, but I was using on my Fel Striker, which swaps in when I do fan, I was using Crippling Poison, and I was using Wound Poison on my main hand, and then Deadly on my single target offhand. So I don't know if the Wound Poison helped, but I hear she has a heal at the end. So I was just basically mortal striking her. I just did it just in case. I was like, why not? Like the
you lose
damage
a small
doesn't
amount
matter.
It's a small amount of DPS versus
it really doesn't matter. That fight is, that's something that's, we kind of need to drill into people. There's a lot of things and a lot of phases in Ulduar and fights that aren't DPS. They aren't a race. Like phase 1 of Yogg is a little bit of a race in the sense that you need to not get overrun. But I mean, it's not like, I'm taking a wide berth around clouds, it's not that big of a deal. Like you can move if a cloud's coming, those types of things.
Up until now, I think almost every boss in Classic has gotten exponentially easier the more damage you can do. And while that's still the case in Ulduar, I feel like you also just have to do the mechanics, right? Like you're not going to get out of doing the mechanics by doing more DPS. So you need to actually know what all the bosses are doing in order to have strong attempts. So definitely the case that even if you look at Warcraft logs and how much stuff doesn't count for parsing, and you can take your time on a lot of this stuff. It just doesn't matter because it doesn't even count for your parse.
Well, you talk about knowing the fights, and I'm not going to call out the name, but we had a certain raid member on Yogg 1 last night who was like, I am not in the clouds. I haven't taken any damage. We're like, you don't take damage. It spawns mobs.
Yeah, I was happy. I mean, I'll be honest.
It was funny as hell.
I was happy to find out that he didn't know that he was spawning mobs, because otherwise it made no sense. Because it's like, why would you run that way? Why would you just stand there? But it made sense once it was like, I didn't know that. So Freya hard mode.
Really
I'm feeling so confident for next week for Freya hard mode. I think that we will almost definitely do it next week, especially with a little bit extra gear. It's going to help out a ton. Vezax kicked our butts more than it was supposed to, which is annoying. Kind of sick of being a paladin on that fight. It's fine. But yeah, everyone, it's another fight where everyone just has to do what they're doing properly, or it goes poorly very quickly. It was annoying that I was a paladin, but most of our wipes were just Serenite vapor deaths. People kill themselves all the time on the vapor.
Well, so Scotty today said that, it was super easy as paladin tank. And I was like, weird. I was like, well, yeah, we haven't even done hard mode. He's like, oh no, I'm talking about on hard mode. I think hard mode's easier. I was like, I need to learn about what hard mode is, because I was like, how can it be easier?
Well, hey, if it's easier, let's look into getting that done, because Vezax is definitely a pain. It's definitely one where everyone just sort of needs to know what's going on. You need to be moving. So did have a couple wipes there, but we'll figure out those vapors yet. And then threat is still, it's like not a huge issue. We just have to have Hands of Salvation sometimes. I think what it just comes down to is like pushing that Hand of Salvation as long as possible, because the way Hand of Salvation works is percentage threat. So the longer you wait or the more threat exists, the more threat that is actually getting removed.
Yeah.
So when you use it like early on somebody, it does like nothing. But if you can do it like halfway through the fight, then threat will never be a problem again. So
also
kind of figuring out that balance.
I don't know if it matters or I'm not, like, because like I was switching to Trixing, because basically the Warlock I tricks is out of my range after pull. So I was like Trixing him on pull, but then I was Trixing the tank, like both in 10-man and in 25-man. I was just Trixing the tank as much as I could remember to do it, like not exactly on cooldown, but I was just like, the more I could just keep adding as the fight goes on, the better, just in case somebody just really gets to blow some up. Because the damage with range is so sporadic on that fight. Sometimes you'll see our, like our mage like way up there and everybody else like 2/3 of his damage, and then the next fight you'll see the Warlock way up there and the mage like down at like number 4, and so it's like a burst could come and then that's when it gets scary.
Yeah, it's definitely made hero timing weird, but I think like, I don't know, a new weapon might fix that. Like threat is just a little bit tight on any of the fights that range are getting a power boost in. I'm like full chonk. I'm like the most chonky you can be. And it's just like, then Vezix has those mana issues. So it's okay. The fight's fine, but people just have to like play really well and tight in order to one shot right now. So I think we wiped like 3 times before we killed them, but that's okay. We ended up not having enough time for Yogg +1 at this point because we spent so long on Freya. Freya kind of like teased us in a way where it's like, oh, we're so close, we can do it. Just one more pull, and we were there for a while. Yogg is really interesting because it's like hard and easy. I feel like missing the only thing I really miss is the sanity. We haven't done it on 25, so it could be a lot harder without those other buffs. But on 10-man, the only thing I miss is just being able to reset your sanity. The other stuff, like the lower healing done, and then I think you end up like losing some extra damage as well too. Doesn't seem to be that big of a problem, but the phase 2 is just wild with how much is going on, and everyone does just really need to know like, hey, we got to kill this right now, or I should be killing this, or I need to run into my like bonded person. I need to run away from the malady. Like you just have to know all these things in order to keep your sanity up.
You get bad RNG with the different tentacles. Might not be as big of a deal in 25-man. I don't know, but in one of our 10-man attempts, we had 2 of the constructors right next to one of the big guys, so the melee couldn't get there. Yeah,
the melee couldn't hit the crushers because the crusher, they literally spawned like it was like the crusher, and then right next to it were 2 tentacles.
Yeah, like 2 arms. Yeah, it was like the crusher was the head, the other was the 2 arms.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. And then in 10-man, you kind of get targeted a lot, I feel like. In 25-man, I feel like I don't get hit by that many debuffs, or like I don't get the fear a lot. But in 10-man, on our kill last night for 10-man, I had like no sanity by the end. I just kept getting targeted by stuff over and over, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like,
luckily,
it just keeps hitting me.
Human trinket, human racial gets you out of, if you're grabbed by the one tentacle, if you're feared, you can get out of it, which is nice.
You can get out of the fear with it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then one of the things I've found out just at the end, like after our good attempt where we had 1 billion mobs up, I was just like, I think I just need to be concentrating on kicking and killing the mobs. And that's basically on our kill. That's basically all I did. It's like I would turn and hit the boss, like to like throw a bleed back up, or to refresh my slice and dice. But most of the time I was just sitting on the ads, DPSing them and kicking them. And like the range can do just fine killing the boss. And then you keep that in control, but I didn't think about that something we might want to like impress on our 25-man raid when we do it. It's like your like melee DPS isn't super important there, you know, like you want to get it in, but it's important to keep the mobs in check, you know.
Yeah, we thought that it would be fine, just like cleaving off the boss at first, but we ended up getting like way overwhelmed before Yogg was dead in our first like 10-man Yogg attempt, or like once we got to phase 3 and 10-man. But then after that, having the melee prio, the adds a little bit more, it became a lot easier and more of just like, okay, we'll just kill it eventually.
We
like,
also
fine.
We also sent 3 people down, 3 DPS, and didn't send a heal down, and that got us to 2-phase the brain, which is what was really necessary, kind of.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it does come down to the people you send down. So the first time we sent down 3 DPS, and then like you guys kind of got destroyed down there, and then we started sending a healer, and then retroactively we're like, okay, never mind, we don't need the healer.
Yeah, well, and we didn't think about the fact that we went down there, and we were at like a 3rd health when we went down there. So like, we just didn't. You need to be topped off if you're going down there without heals. So that's definitely the way to do it.
Yeah, and I think in 25-man you always send a healer, so it's less of a big deal. But on 10-man for sure, having the 3 DPS and making sure we're only getting 2 of the brain phases, I think paid off a lot. Getting to that end quicker is better for everyone's sanity in real life and in game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. I think we have Freya and Yogg next week. I don't know if we're gonna try anything else, but the philosophy is still the same. We want to like plow through as much as we can, and then like really put the time in on the hard modes that we want to get down. We put in that Freya time last week, and I'm hoping to reap those rewards come
I think
next
we
week,
will.
because we really did,
especially with doing the hard mode on 10-mans. Like, I think that could help a lot. And so I'm interested to see if we try that Monday night, because if, from what I'm hearing, they might not be patching that Tranquility thing. And although in 25-man, it might be kind of a pain in the butt to really capitalize on it, but in 10-man, that might be just amazing.
That is interesting, and I think Jasmine does have the set for it too, right?
He does.
Yeah. That Tranquility thing is pretty funny. I'm all for it as long as no one's we had no knowledge. It's against the rules, so no one ban us if you do patch it. But yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with Ulduar right now. I think that I kind of like that progression is going to take a while. It's just keeping it in mind that, hey, it might take a while. This phase is long. It's okay if we don't kill Algalon for, another few weeks. As long as people like understand that, I think we're going to be just fine. Because the normal modes are fun, but they're quick now. Now that we've got it down, we can pull and kill this stuff very, very quickly and leave some of that time for this hard mode progression. But there is a lot of balancing, because in an ideal world, like you mentioned earlier, 10-man hard mode gear is very good. 10-man hard mode gear is better than normal mode 25-man gear.
Yep.
So it's like, or like is it worthwhile having like a super group getting the 10-man gear down? Like, we have to really decide how we're spending our time. Because a lot of us are raiding in both our weekday and weekend raid, we don't want people like killing themselves going to Ulduar over and over and progging over and over. So just kind of finding that balance of where we're going for gear and where we're going for 25-man hard mode kills, I think will be important.
Yeah, it's nuts. I have 7 of my hard bis #1 pieces are from 10-man hard modes. Now 3 of them are from Algalon 10-man, but like, I consider that a hard mode since,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard mode.
But like, it's just nuts. And a whole bunch of my 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th bis items are out of 10-man hard mode. So it's like crazy, and my 2/4 sword, offhand sword, is the 3rd overall bis for offhands for combat rogue. And I'm just like, just because of that 1.4 speed, like that's why the Librarian's Paper Cutter, although way less DPS than than anything in Nax, 25. It was Biss. The only offhand that was Biss over it was Webbed Death, and that was at the 1.4 speed. And like, yeah, it's just because I get like a lot of energy from offhand hits, so it's huge to have the quicker that can go, the more actual damage you're doing, as opposed to your offhand and offhand poison hitting.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I just need that Freya hard mode, or I'll take a caress from y'all hard mode too. And then I'll be happy, and it'll make 25-man raids feel a lot better too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's actually a huge DPS increase for a prot to get a weapon. So hopefully we'll get something out of there soon. But people are finishing their tier sets, which some of them are very, very powerful. So our guild next week, I think, will be in a really tight spot, and I look forward to seeing what we can do then.
Yeah, some of those tier sets, like I was looking at Mel's 250 spell power, and it doesn't look like it has an internal CD. So you're just getting
it's just forever, basically.
Wow.
You just shield people, and you just forever have that spell power.
Like, that is
Disc
nuts.
Priests are like our number one. We wanted the 4-piece to Disc Priest first, I think, overall, because that is just very strong. It's a shame because my gear is really good. The gear would be a big upgrade to get the 25-man tier for me, but the sets are just so bad that it doesn't make any sense to go after, and it doesn't make sense to go after the 10-man mode either, because it's like such a small boost in stats. I'm kind of like why? Just give me the 25, please. But I don't know. I'm thankful that we can just like buy 2 pieces with badges. That's like a huge benefit to the raid as a whole. To be able to just purchase tier.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, there's part of me that just wishes I could buy it all, because I'm just like, dang it.
I know.
But I guess we do have Vault of Archavon to give us the 2 of the other pieces.
Yeah, if you get lucky enough, but I don't think I've ever gotten a piece out of there yet.
I've gotten 2 PvP pieces, and I'm like, I don't need PvP right now. It's just like,
yeah, I would certainly take if I could get like pants, or if I could get the pants. I'm pretty sure Fab did. Our other prop Pally got his pants from Vault when it came out, which is very nice. So
lucky.
We'll see. But yeah, that was our progress this week. I think I was definitely happy with it. Thorum's really the only one that we technically did in addition to last week, but I think we'll be ramping up very, very quickly.
All right. Okay, guys, and Yip, where can we find you?
Hi, you can find me, I guess, on Twitter and YouTube at The Yip Show. Awesome. Or on Benediction as Yipidin or Yipbot.
Yeah, so looking to... never mind. Okay, now we are moving back to the normal show. See you there. Time for the news. All right. First up in the news, there were some hot fixes, but the one that I wanted to really look at and find out if you guys knew anybody that had this happen to them, but so basically on Iron Council, if you kill the little dude last, Stormcaller, and you kill him this was the way it was, they have fixed it now, but if you killed him in the air, you couldn't access your loot. Did anybody know anybody that this happened to? Like, your loot just was stuck in the air and you just couldn't loot it.
No.
It's such a WoW bug.
Yeah.
Right?
Shouldn't all mobs drop to the ground when they die? Is that why? How is that not a thing?
I know.
No, the only one I've seen is we had an alt 10-man that was just doing like a full normal clear, and they had to do Freya hard mode because as soon as they engaged one of the elders, they all DC'd. Everything else was fine. They cleared all the trash, but as soon as they pull an elder, all 10 of them would DC. So they just had to do hard mode. They done it, which is even better. But yeah,
right.
Wow. Yeah,
haven't seen that.
Yeah, Freya hard mode didn't seem to be too hard for us on 10-man, but we had also progressed it on 25-man the night prior, so everybody
it's a lot easier on 10 now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier. Oh man, yeah. Okay, so and then that's been fixed, and then also, so basically the troll dungeons, that red haze that is the life leech heal, that buff is now a 4-second duration instead of a 10-second duration when the enemy is no longer affected. So I think this just means they lowered it. Does anybody make sense of what they're saying? Are they saying like they're increasing the healing?
Nerfed. It's been nerfed so it don't last as long.
Yeah.
But it heals more though,
all they
right?
had to do was just make the red glowy thing more like apparent, because right now you just don't even notice it.
Yeah, it's horrible. You're like, oh shit, it's in one. Damn it.
But the first boss drops Embrace of the Spider, don't it? So I literally got dragged into that instance, like a full decked out Ulduar group, as in like an amazing 5-man group. And as soon as we done that first boss, I was like, this is gonna get nerfed. Like it was just so obvious. But yeah,
kiting them everywhere.
That's all I've done out of we're in Gundrak, literally and Drakthorn Keep. I've done that one first boss, and that you could see straight away.
We had Gundrak the first day that the heroic dungeons came out, and it was a struggle that day. And then we haven't had it since, so I haven't been back. And I heard that it has, like, even with the nerf, it's not much better than what it was like when it first launched. So I don't know.
See, me and Mel have only done it where one of us is doing the tanking job, and so we learned pretty quick. But I imagine if you're in with like a slow tank who just doesn't get the stuff out, it could be really annoying, especially on like the last boss or something. But yeah, it hasn't been horrible. It's just annoying, and you end up like if you pull a bunch of packs, like it could be really annoying. But
yeah, it punishes pulling too many at one time, which is probably the most annoying part of it. But
it's just like the mirror image dungeons too, like Violet Hold and what's the other one? Oculus Nexus. Those you just can't pull too many packs because you're gonna have 50 mirror images that you have to tab, or you can't even tab target. I don't think you have to like click on them and one shot them, and yeah. I kind of don't like not being able to get big AoE packs. I've got Starfall. Let me AoE. I don't want a 3-pack.
Yeah, it would be.
What do you actually think
easy.
though? Like, do you actually do you think they're good? Like me personally, I think they're all right. They're no mythic. They're no mythic dungeons like retail. But do you think they're a good addition or?
The concept is good, but not the mechanics that they imply.
It's just an annoying mechanic, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't think they make them that much harder. I think they just kind of make them a little bit more annoying. I mean, it's fine. I like the idea of it, but I don't see them as like, oh, I've got to really prepare to do this.
I mean,
I just feel like it's a fouled implementation on the basis. Let's be honest, it's far easier just to go 10-man Nax and get better gear. I don't see the point of either. Like, if you ding 80, like, I think going and doing heroic plus dungeons, I don't see the point. You might as well just go get some BOEs off the auction house and then go straight to Nax.
I think for me, it was better just to get emblems, right? To do the daily, you get 5 emblems.
Early on, just get emblems.
A lot of them, you can skip most of the bosses in them. You only have to do the final boss, right? So any of them that have bosses that you can skip, you can. So that made them pretty quick. But yeah, there's no gear I need from them. It was just to get a couple emblems, and now I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought like it's been kind of neat just coming up with different strategies. Like if I take on my warrior in the troll dungeons, like as soon as I see the mist, I could hit my, AoE stun, move out, and then the DPS that's slow to move out to still getting damage on them, but they're not, healing off of me. And so just different things. It was kind of neat early on, but I don't even think I've done them all. Like, because the daily for us, like 3 days in a row was just Halls of Lightning. And we just, would skip 2 of the bosses and just do it like really quick. So
yeah, ours has been Old Kingdom pretty much. Like it's Old Kingdom or Utgard Pinnacle. They're the only 2 that I've actually done all full runs in. But I think Old Kingdom was 3 or 4 days on the trot.
Yeah, and Old
Which ain't a bad
Kingdom
one.
you could
It's not a
skip
bad
2
one.
bosses too. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute run.
We get Halls of Stone, and then we get
We get Halls of Stone a lot too.
Culling of
Yeah,
Strath.
Halls of Stone was the one I meant to say. We got 3 days in a row.
Yeah, we get Halls of Stone, Culling of Stratholm. Culling of Stratholm is a weird one. So it's like you don't really need somebody like a healer to cleanse, but like a lot of times the DPS and the tank just like assume that it's going to get cleansed off of you so you don't turn into the zombie when they could just be using the 10,000 water that drops, the Stratholm holy water, and cleanse themselves. But they're like, dude, like,
Oh, well,
cleanse me. It's like, cleanse yourself. Use your water.
I've only run it with Mel, and we were like almost done. And Mel's like, "What's the mechanic in here?" And I was like, "It's the one that you've just been removing from us." Like we didn't have one person turn into a zombie until the very end.
I didn't even realize. I was like,
Yeah, she was just auto
God, is this
cleansing.
really this many diseases? It's so annoying.
Serious question though, and again, like without sounding too negative, do you not think 5 emblems a day is a little bit extreme? Like,
It is.
It's a lot.
A bit excessive.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't think we should get 5 emblems a day, but I don't want to
No.
say that out loud, right? We should probably cut that part of it because I really like.
But
yeah,
at the
it makes
same
the carrying
time,
faster, but like it's I don't know, 5 to me a day just from a daily heroic that takes 10 minutes on for most of them just seems so extreme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could have gotten like an extra 3 emblems instead of just 2 for the heroic. Like I think that would have been enough to get people to do it too. But
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just way too easy to get the emblems you needed to buy the gear you needed, and now they're gonna die out.
I didn't
Yep.
super like when it was, early on when it was just one person got the bag. I didn't super like that because you could just super gear somebody and then you could actually do, like you could actually give somebody everything, every day. So I didn't really like
we was
that.
doing 4 ults, 1 main. Literally,
Yeah.
just funnel them to the mains. But yeah, it that was even worse than everyone getting 5. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That was gonna cause way more conflict.
Yeah.
But they've been okay. Oh, all right. So next up, just let you guys know that Cross Realm PvP is now live, as well as the Oceanic Realms. Now they'll look for a queue in the OCE region, but after a certain amount of time, they will be added to the NA queue. Now, I heard someone saying that they thought that basically like NA people might be brought to the OCE side, but it sounds like the OCE side is just going to be going over to the NA side. That, like, if their side takes too long, because I heard somebody, I think it was on Countdown to Classics, saying that sometimes NA people would be on their servers. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's always going to be OCE coming over to NA, but I could be wrong there, just by the way they word it.
I haven't done
How
much
long
PvP.
till cross server PvE?
That's the big question, right? I don't know.
Maybe this is their test. They're getting ready for it, so they're like, we'll test the PvPers, see if there's any feedback from them, and then we'll send
Well,
it over.
it was in TBC for a short while, as in TBC Classic.
Yeah, what did an accident? Because they like didn't know.
Yeah, it was
But
an
it still
accident.
worked.
I remember doing Scarlet Monastery, yeah, cross server. But yeah, so they've got it, haven't they? They've got it there ready. They already know that they can actually do it, and to me, it kind of makes more sense. I'm a PvEer, not a PvPer, so all the PvPers will be saying, no, it makes more sense for PvP. But for someone who knows a lot of people on various different servers, like Go, to actually be able to just group up with Go and go do a dungeon, that'd be great with you guys. Grouping up and doing a 10-man, that'd be awesome. I think it would be a good idea personally. But
Yeah, I feel like at this point, I mean, they allowed the servers to get so big. I feel like it's just like whatever. Like it's just like just have one big server. You can group up with people. Like I don't care anymore.
Well, and
Yeah.
at the same time, you could even make the excuse that you're still doing like it's, you know, they can't use the same excuse for that as they would for random dungeon fighter because you still have to talk to people and set the group up. You know what I mean? So it still is a social endeavor. So I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I wonder what everybody else thinks. But
And
you could- you
know
could
there's
almost-
those people out there saying that's the beginning of the end. That'll kill the game.
Yeah, but yeah, like you could all. It'd be great, wouldn't it, to have an actual like a Discord setup called Random Dungeon Finder. You know, and it's got a
Right.
different channel for each heroic, and you just post in, you know, looking for more, and then you can actually find people from other servers.
Yeah.
It'd be
oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, I'm sure that would happen too. It's probably
yeah.
happening right now. Actually, it is happening. Friend of the show, Angry Druid, who does all the achievement stuff. Like he has set it up to where they're going to be running stuff. I believe it's every Saturday. I'll put the link in the description for you guys to the Discord, but he's doing it both Alliance and Horde, and they're trying to do all the PvP achievements. So, you know, that's something that you guys can look into if you want to check that out, because that's possible now to like really game it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? So
Yeah.
in phase 1, I kind of paid attention to the raid achievements. I haven't really been paying attention to the raid achievements in Ulduar. And it's like I'll down a boss, I'll get 2-3 achievements a boss, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I have no idea what I did. Is there anything I should be looking out for from any certain boss, or like, is there a mount from Ulduar? Like,
There's
Yeah,
a mouse
yeah,
for
there's
both 10 and 25.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do it. You can do it in one reset. We've got ours already.
Okay.
Weird flex. No,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
can
Oh, yeah, we
do it
forgot
in
about
1
it.
week. Honestly, it's nowhere near as difficult as Nax. It's not got the irritating one like shocking or undying, or you know what I mean. It really is a hell of a lot easier. The main one, like just the bottleneck, is Razor Scale, because Razor Scale is really irritating because you just have to wipe a few times to actually be able to do it.
What is the Razor Scale achievement?
Get Razor Scale to kill 25 of the dwarfs. So
Oh.
because it enrages after the third ground phase, you know, you can get like sort of, let's say 3 or 4. We got really lucky on 1, and I think we got 6 killed in one breath. But you're looking at like 3 or 4 wipes or around that, you know, to actually get it done. But yeah, it's just annoying.
Could you
I've
just
made a
save
mistake.
up all the ads?
Yeah. That's literally what you do. But then you've got to control DPS because they've all got to be sub 15k health around that. So you know, trying to keep 5 or 6 mobs all on like 15,000 health is not the easiest with DKs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Trying to
shouldn't
tell
have brought
DPS
that
to
up.
stop.
Yeah, any guildie that's watching this, they're gonna be asking my guild leader, "Hey, can we do the Razor Scale achievement now? It sounds kind of hard, and it might take a while." And I'm gonna be like, "Dude, I want to parse." That's a 3-minute fight. Let me pump for 3 minutes.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't do it on the kill anyway. Like I say, you'd wipe, get the achievement done, then actually kill the
Oh,
boss
you can do,
proper.
okay. I'll sit
Yeah,
out.
'cause
I'll
it-
let them do that.
Yeah, it like adds up. So he was getting 6, you know, and 3 and 4, all the way up to 25 with a few different wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to it much at all either. And it is funny you say that, because I actually just looked at it last night and was like, damn, I only have like 4 of each on 10 and 25. We haven't even like looked at trying any of them. We randomly got 4.
Yeah. No, it's really easy. They're basically once you can kill all the hard modes, it's a mount. You know, you got a free mount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we'll probably look into it, but we're progressing on hard modes because we didn't PTR, so we got a little bit before we're probably too worried about mounts, and we know this one isn't going away either, so we're not as worried about it as we were the Nax ones. So that's why we haven't even looked into it. I'm
Well,
pretty
and
sure.
Nax was just so easy. The achievements were really the only thing making it kind of entertaining at the end. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Scotty, did you ever get
Immortal?
Immortal ever?
Nope.
No
Still
shit?
not got it.
Damn.
Same
No
here.
shit. Still not got it.
I got it on the ult, not the main though. Yeah, our guild main raid hasn't got it.
You've got to remember, we've got pass hungry whores in our guild. Trying to actually tell them, look, even if we said we're going for Immortal, you know, like really full focus, someone will still die, and the only reason they'll die is because they're trying to pass. They're like no other reason. But it is sort of as weird as it sounds. It is also a culture that I don't even want to break because they all like they're literally. Yeah, double haste fighting on every fight, you know, sapper in, using bombs on cooldown. You know, they're literally doing everything to push out every single bit of DPS. So to say, no, don't do that because we don't want deaths, yeah, it's a bit counterproductive, especially for an achievement, which, let's face it, we can go back and get it in ICC year when we can just like delete bosses in 30 seconds. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason that's the only reason I was kind of upset that they went ahead and kept the achievement, because I was like, well, we wouldn't even have messed with it because like we would have rather, like we had 2 different weeks where we said, hey, we're going for Undying. We got it both weeks, but those were 2 weeks that I didn't get to parse exactly the way that I wanted to, and those were missed opportunities for me, you know, and so I
but they were never going anywhere. Just FYI, like the Immortal and Undying was never ever going to go anywhere.
Yeah, well, but the
back in the
Drakes,
day. The mounts, though. Yeah, the Drakes definitely. But they made the right decision now. Like, I'll give Blizzard that because being the only raid tier they've ever removed the mounts from, when it's arguably the easiest tier that's ever existed, seems a bit counterproductive anyway.
Yep, I think it was the right decision, wrong time. Just like, you know, same way I feel about the unholy DK change, right change, wrong time. Like, should have changed much earlier, I think, and it would have, you know, I would have got those two weeks back, and maybe I would have had, you know, a couple more 99s instead of 98s and 97s. So
yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And it's just a past culture now, isn't it? It's all anyone cares about.
Yep. That's all I care about. So yeah, the next thing, Emalon the Storm Watcher is in Vault of Archavon. That's the PvP raid that's over there in Wintergrasp. It's not hard, but it is harder than the other one. Like, you know, at least in early gear, you need to like watch the mechanics. What we saw.
It was a little bit longer of a fight, yeah. It still wasn't like terribly hard.
No, it wasn't like, I mean, but it's a step up, and it does drop the new tier gear, so that's kind of nice.
And was it
Does it just drop PvP gear?
No,
it drops both tier and PvP gear.
Tier gloves and pants, and then PvP gear. And I think it's 2 emblems of conquest.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's worth doing.
A couple emblems, yeah.
And the old boss, unfortunately, we went and killed him just to see, but it still gives Valor. It didn't give us the new emblems, so we were a little bummed about that.
Yeah, I got shouted at the very first day, the first pug I joined, because like we don't do it in the guild because what's the point of competing for gear between us? So yeah, we just pug it. First pug I joined, I'm in such a private server, you know, mind space at all times. Killed the first boss, saw there was no loot that I wanted, instantly half stoned, and then got raged at by like 3 or 4 people. Like, there's another boss to do yet. I just logged off.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, we did it that first day. We haven't done it since. Like, just not a whole lot of reason to do it unless you're trying to fill out, you know, old PvP gear, maybe. All right. Oh yeah, the last piece of news. I was curious what Go thought of this, but basically, it was found out that that you could take a druid with the new with the new talents, you could spec into 60%. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the words. 60.
Tranquility reduced cooldown.
Yeah. Reduce cooldown of Tranquility by 60%. Well, some savvy people also realized that the bonus for the tier 1 gear from Molten Core gives you a 50% reduction. So on general, they were able to just spam Tranquility and just do like 3 times the healing of anybody else in their raid. And
yeah,
so
our Druid's been doing it. Well, our Druid's been trying to get the tier 1 gear for a few weeks now. It's not new, it's been known about for years. The thing that gets me is the use case. And I was having this discussion with our Resto Druid like 2 nights ago on Discord. That Vezax, there's already nothing to heal. I don't get why you would use it on Vezax. It literally makes 0 sense to me at all because, as long as you're ranged to doing what they're meant to do, there's like 0 raid healing, literally. But I could see really strong use cases for it on things like Thorim, where you're then moving into the stack that's just got Frostbolt volleyed or Frost Nova'd, and then healing them. And having that Resto Druid, if you're not stacked on melee, where you can afford to have someone else in melee, I could see it strong on other fights rather than Vezax. It seems like the weirdest place to even think about using it.
XT hard mode.
Yeah, XT hard mode, 100%.
Freya hard mode could be kind of nice. Just top everybody off after the earthquaker or whatever. There could be a lot of stuff.
XT hard mode taking 4 Resto Druids with tier 1 and that would be mental. 1 in each group, and then just have like your tank group, and you're going to probably want a Holy Paladin still, so you might run like a Holy Paladin and let's say 4 Resto Druids. Have the Holy Paladin deal with a tank, and then you've just got Resto Druids topping off 4 of 5 raid groups. That would be mental. Again, like that's why when people were saying to me, "Oh, we should do this for Vezax," I was like, "No."
Well,
why?
and there's another piece to it, because Tranquility is group wide. So if you're doing it with 1, you're gonna have to be moving them to the different groups throughout, which is another job somebody would have to do.
Yeah, and especially when Resto Druids can already cheese the Vezax mechanics anyway to actually have really strong tank healing. You're like sacrificing really strong, more or less free mana cast like tank healing, where it should actually matter, to then, I don't know, just top people off, which really, like, we don't do any raid healing at all. They get topped off by Shadow Priest or Judgment of Light. That's it. They take damage, they get topped off by Judgment of Light.
Listen,
like using it, are you able to get more stacks of the mana regen stuff or whatever, like maybe where you would die if you didn't have that much healing?
I'm talking hard mode. I've never done normal. Well, not in classic. Yeah, not done normal.
Yeah, you can't kill any of the Serenite in hard mode.
Okay. No. We haven't even tried hard mode.
Yeah. Well, listen, I will say I've tried hard mode because as a discipline priest, the number of shields I have on me, like at all times, like just from random stuff, I have to like figure out what I need to click off, or else I go into the Serenite, I click off my, regular shield, power word shield, right? But I've got this other Aegis shield on me. And so I'm like in there, I got 6 stacks, I have no mana, I get out, and then I'm just like, bloop, dead once it like falls off, and I'm like, God damn it. Like, it's so bad, it's so annoying.
This is a pain.
So I figured it out, don't worry, I got it now.
Oh, is there any way a Boomy can? No, probably not. You can't get down that low, huh?
Well, for Tranquility and all that stuff, I wouldn't even want to tell Boomies to do that. No, we're there to pump, we're there to DPS, and that's it.
But what if it gets you Valinir, man? Like, what are you doing?
See?
If Tranquility procced Valinir and we could get that case going, even if it doesn't, and I just say right here, right now, Tranquility procced Valinir, so therefore Yeah, Druid needs that now so that we can do hard mode XT, which is one of the hardest hard modes in Ulduar. Yeah, it's Druid Prio for sure.
Last time I checked last night, it still hadn't been killed. I think Beef Bar had a 6% wipe or something. I heard. I've not seen it myself,
really?
so yeah, I could be talking shit. Like I genuinely don't. I have not seen it, but I've been told by someone in the guild that apparently had a 6% wipe.
On which boss?
XT hard mode. Literally, as I say, as of last night, or the last time I looked, it hadn't even been killed yet.
This is going to be a weird thing to say, but once their Druid gets Valinir and gets their tier 1, what is it, 4 piece, then they'll be able to down it. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Another reset of gear and it will die.
Yeah.
Do we think that this will get patched though?
No.
You don't think so?
What's the mechanics behind it? Isn't it because they're not classified as a healer because they've put points in other trees that allows it to happen? Because I didn't watch Sarth's video. No offense to Sarth. I just didn't get around to it.
No, it's that
it's just talents.
Yeah, the talents along with the AP set bonus basically makes it so Tranquility could just be cast constantly.
Like, should they just eliminate the set bonuses from tier?
I guess that's what they did.
The next tier, like a couple tiers out.
I guess
something? Like
in retail, they just basically at one point were like, okay, tier sets, the bonuses no longer work because there was so many people breaking things. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true.
All they need to do is just not make it additive. That's it. So your talents will reduce it by X amount of percent, and then the 8-piece tier 1 will then reduce it by a further X amount of percent. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it will always still have a cooldown. But the cooldown will be very low still, don't get me wrong, but it's not additive between the two. That's all I'd do.
Yeah, or they could just make it so it doesn't overlap, you know. But
like I say, there's so many limited places you would even use it that it's one of those neat, like niche, like gimmicky little things that it's not that effective.
Right.
Would it be useful in later raids though, like ICC, for anything? To where they should nerf it now, so that it's just like their excuse for nerfing the warriors. Like it could get out of hand later on. Let's nerf it now.
Not really. Quite honestly, not really. Rot face, maybe. But there's just there's not like it needs to be a constant AoE fight, and the reason they're using it on Vezax is because of mana. But like I say, when you can already cheese the black puddles as a resto druid anyway, I don't know why you would even worry. But as I say, like for me, I this could be something that people really don't like, but I really think Vezax hard mode is hardly any more difficult than normal, as in like to the point where I don't see the point of even killing it normal.
Really?
There's hardly any difference. You've got the animus that everybody's going to say, like if you've got a decent amount of DPS in your group, you're always going to have to stop. Obviously, you're always going to get the boss to like say 5-6%, and then call to hard stop DPS maybe for even 30 seconds. So as long as everyone's actually really conservative with mana, and then the animus spawns and you literally blow it up in like 60 to 90 seconds, it's then a kill. Even if you lose after raid at that point. If the animus dies and you only got like 10 people alive, because the boss was only on 5-6%, you'll still kill it. Anytime we've wiped outside of hard mode the majority of the time. You know, as in before the animus is even active. You know, it's just been an unlucky chain of big hits on. We was using a blood DK. It's actually like prop paladin for it, which may surprise people, but prop paladin on Vezax is absolutely amazing, especially if you put 2 points in spiritual attunement and use glyph of spiritual attunement as well. See, that's what we have our paladin do anyway.
That's what our prop paladin's been doing, but like in the other raid where I take with my warrior, like my warrior has way less problems. Like I just take that easy as pie. So I don't know. I don't know why that is. I don't know if I have more physical mitigation or something, but like I just I have no problem.
Well, when our blood DK tanks it, he normally does as much, or if not a little bit more sometimes, healing than the healers.
That's funny.
Because he's just literally, more or less throughout the entirety of phase 1, outside of Surge of Darkness, he's just keeping himself up. And then when a Surge of Darkness goes up, you use a personal cooldown or, you know, a DSAC or a pain suppression or whatever to get through that without having to kite. And then, yeah, I mean, as a Holy Paladin, I normally go into the Animus phase on like 70 to 80% mana. And that's without Dark Runes.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, the warrior tank's actually been completely fine. We haven't done any hard modes in that raid though, but it's been like completely fine. So I haven't had any problems.
Yeah, we've used a prop warrior on it as well, and yeah, it works fine.
I do a lot of damage too. Which makes
All
it
right,
fun.
stop trying to pump up your prop warrior here.
Warriors rule, dude. All right.
It's class, mate.
All right, well, I guess that gets us through the news, so let's move into...
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right, this week's discussion is Ulduar so far. So... Maybe start off with some first impressions. Like, how are you guys feeling about it overall?
It's amazing. I love it. It's a good change of pace. I kind of, back to the love-hate relationships that we've had all day. I love it and I hate it that you can do a hard mode and wipe on it for an hour and a half. And then it's the end of the raid night, so it's like, all right, let's just down it on easy mode, normal mode, and get the loot and come back the next raid day and finish the rest of the raid, all that stuff. But it's like, it feels bad to like, we didn't get that. And then the easy mode is so easy compared to the hard mode.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool to have that option to still get some loot and come back next week and try the hard mode again.
Well, I think it's nice because there's a lot of hard modes that you realize you just maybe don't have the DPS or you don't have the right comp that week, or you need a little bit more gear before that's going to be an attainable option for you, right? So you give it a shot. You can, determine how long you try it on hard mode for, and then you can still progress and get more gear to make it a little bit easier the next week.
Yeah.
Some of the like avoidable mechanics that's like up to personal responsibility. It's kind of like annoying when people are still getting hit by them like the second week when you've been on the same boss for 2 hours. But then again, it's pretty funny to see somebody getting hit by a shadow crash for the 50th time.
As a healer, it's not funny.
It's funny for me. I see the shadow crash coming and I weave out and I'm just looking for where it's going to land and who it's going to hit and watch them just get
every
knocked
time.
back.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's
So
been
like,
hilarious just watching people on Yogg just like, I'm not going through clouds. You're literally looking at them standing in a cloud. You're like, dude,
Announces it.
You're in a cloud.
It says so-and-so spawned a thing from a cloud. Like, you can see it. There's no arguing.
Shout out to Mincy TV. Sorry. On our very first Yogg +1 pull, he literally, I'm pretty sure he ran through every cloud in existence, even ones that were in other people's instances.
Oh,
And he was like, what? I didn't do anything.
We had a friend of the show.
They always deny it.
We were doing Yogg 1 on 10 man last night. We had friend of the show Kim Jong-un. He kept spotting stuff, and he's like, I'm not in the cloud. I'm not taking any damage. And we're like, it didn't give you damage. It just spawns ads. And he's like, oh, okay. We're like, dang it. Oh, it's so funny. But he's using that to gauge if he's in the fog or not. We're like, yeah, it doesn't do any damage to you.
Yeah.
The sappers on your way to Mimiron when you kill them and they explode 5 seconds after they die.
Those are hilarious. We still have
All
people
the
dying to
melee,
those. It's
forget, all the
hilarious.
range run through, forget. Oh, I love that's my highlight of my Ulduar is I sit back
my
and I
God.
watch.
The very first time we went in, we just were like, the whole raid wiped. We were like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Everybody's looking around like,
After we
what
killed
just
everything,
happened?
then just like 7 people were dead.
We're just
like,
standing there
"What
because,
was that?"
yeah, because I remember an epic dropped right there. And so everybody's looking on the body. And all of a sudden, we're just all dead. There's no mobs. And we're like, what just happened?
We skip all that trash. I can't be dealing with that. It's too stressful. We literally just skip all of it.
How do you skip it?
How do you skip it?
Have a paladin run into the first pack bubbled, all move forward, have a next paladin run into the next pack, then have someone rocket boots to the train.
And then
Preferably a hunter, so he can MD, he can pull the boss and feign death, and we've all got the portal. Yeah, we don't kill that trash anymore.
I think it sounds a lot more fun to watch your guildmates die.
It is. It is. But do you know what? It winds me up so much that I'd rather go AFK while they clear it, or we just skip it, one or the other.
So once they pull the boss and feign, then all
You
the
get the
trash despawns.
No, the trash is still there, but you've now got the portal to be able to go
Portal.
straight to Spark of Imagination. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what actually activates the portal. Because we had somebody fall off the train, and we're like, you can just use the portal, and they couldn't. So it's on boss pull first time that the portal becomes active.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
This is why we bring Scotty on and give us all these cool tips.
I mean,
If you want to know how to raid lazily, kill as little as possible.
So
like
a rogue could just evasion, cloak, sprint, boots.
Yeah, rogue's got a good chance of getting through. You want to use 2 or 3, but we depending on what we do, like last night or whenever we raided last Thursday, last time we done the main 25-man group, we was clearing trash to Hodir, and then we had a shaman and a hunter literally just go and get the portal ready to Mimiron.
That's a really good idea. And I would volunteer for that because I don't like trash.
I love it. It's an AoE pack. Let me AoE.
like Juba just said in Twitch chat, by the way. Yeah, the second pack has got bots that can see stealth. So you do you need to run. You need to run, kite, rocket boot, sprint, like everything. That's why you just send.
You would want
to suicide.
You would want to save. You would want to save vanish for Mimiron though, right? So you wouldn't want to use that anyhow.
But if you just said, even if you sent, let's say 3 or 4 people to just go and get the portal while everyone else is killing trash somewhere else, it's still a massive time saver.
Chat says mages can skip the 2 packs easily, so you just have a pally take out the first and a mage just boop boop boop.
Yeah, he's our mage in the guild. it's literally, I'm looking at your Twitch chat and it's like looking in guild chat at the moment. It's great.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I've enjoyed it a ton. Like the whole progressing on the hard modes, I'm enjoying doing that, and it's nice to not have PTR and just being kind of like you're figuring it out. And if it's nice to be able to do the bosses in different orders because we're like, okay, we're not making it on this, but let's just go ahead and kill these other bosses because we know we're not going to progress on hard mode on them this week, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll have a ton of time for progression before we go take out Yaga in general, and so
my favorite is
like
what's the one that we did the hard mode on that you have to go through the gauntlet?
Thorm.
Yeah. So the first time we tried to do hard mode, we had like 9 melee. And we were like, well, we're just making this so much harder on ourselves.
9 melee in the hallway?
No, like 9
just in the raid
on the boss, trying not to get chain lightning to death.
Yeah, so basically a 4-part quadrant, just like KT, and like everybody's got to be completely on the right corner and full max range of the boss to not be in range of the others. Like it's really hard to do with as much melee as we have.
I'd leave them out. another way we do that with melee, which is actually it's really annoying. Like if you're a melee player, you'll absolutely hate it. But if you have the tank it like smack bang in the middle, and then you have like 2 stacks of melee either side of the leg at max range, then the tank will turn it directly to the pylon that's being charged. So the tank will face the pylon. So the boss's back is directly to the pylon. Then the melee, all they need to do is just keep moving around with the tank staying at their leg, and they'll never get hit by lightning. That's like, it stops that where people are moving from one side to the other, and now you've got like 6 melee stacked on top of each other, boom, dead. You know, but it's really annoying though. Like, I wouldn't recommend to do it. That's how we do it.
It's the chain, it's the chain lightning. Because
like the lightning coming from the pillars, like they could avoid that for the most part, but the chain lightning just like obliterated them.
It's normally when the melee from one side move over to the other side to avoid a lightning pillar, and then you've got loads. So that's how we stopped it. Like now on that boss, we just use cooldowns and just stand still basically. But
see, like if we could have just 2 groups of melee, but we were having to do 3 groups of melee to, so only 3 of us were there, and so that was what was making it like really hard. But as far as like, I didn't have to move at all as a rogue, because just as soon as the lightning pillar would be about to come up, I was just faint, and then I take just half of the damage from it. But the chain lightning is not AoE, so it would just murder the entire group of melee if anybody got close to us.
I mean, everyone unanimously says that Thorim Hardmode is like arguably the easiest hard mode in there, but I've got to be honest, I don't think it's easy.
Yeah, you have to have the right comp.
I'm not saying it's hard, but it's not as easy as people make sound out.
Yeah, it's not like you can walk in there and do Thorim Hardmode and not have to like really figure it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's one of the least like gear check or like skill check items for DPS, right? Like it's not like you have to burn super fast to, beat something, but we've done Thorim Hardmode on 25, and that's one of the few we've done. So it is one of the first ones you would do.
The only reason we did Thorim Hardmode the first week was because we tried it for like 4 or 5 attempts, and then we tried to do normal. We couldn't do normal. We could not get people to not scoot up far enough to engage phase 2, and we just couldn't wait. So like we just kept doing it on hard on accident, and eventually got it down.
It's a fun fight, actually. I like Thorim.
Yeah, it is really weird because like they'll be ready to go, and we're like 55 seconds. We have to wait to like take it to normal mode. It's like, okay, this is just weird.
Yeah. I must admit, I'm the same as you, Bob. So we, like I said before we actually started, our guild didn't do any hard modes at all on the PTR. So we've got people, like I say, like many ex-private server players, war main players, synergy players. So we're fortunate that we've probably got like 80% or 70% around that, probably, of the raid team that have at least done it all before. But then learning it together, and gelling as a raid team and everyone, like that's been the most fun part for me. And I'm glad we didn't just sit no life in PTR. I mean, I joined a few different pugs that I was invited to, from stream and stuff like that, where I went and done some hard modes on my own without the guild during the PTR. But actually, in terms of guild wise, we progressed properly week 1, learning every fight together. It was a lot of fun. It's
cool. Yeah.
The thing is, but like what your initial question with like first impressions, this is going to sound so bad on the basis we're only week 2 in Ulduar, but it's actually made me really excited for ICC, which is bizarre. Like I love Ulduar. Like it's up there with my top 2 best raids of all time, which is Ulduar and Karazhan. But I've enjoyed the progression side of it so much. Don't get me wrong, we've still got to do Algalon on Sunday. But assuming we get Algalon down, then obviously all we've got is XT hard mode like everybody else, which we obviously had our hour on Algalon last week. So I'm quite hopeful for a kill on Sunday, assuming we've got the comp that we need. But I've just enjoyed the progression with the guild so much that like it's made me really, really hyped for ICC. Not TOC. TOC don't really count as a tier, but ICC is going to be epic.
I
Yeah,
wonder
it
if like part of that is because you've gotten so lucky on gear quickly too, you know? Like that could be a factor where you're like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the next, you know?
Oh no, I'm far from ready. I mean, yeah, like everybody that's listening from the guild now knows how lucky I've been. But it's not been like, oh, Guildmaster Prio or streamer privileges or anything like that. I genuinely have just been lucky on the most part, you know, with people needing different bits of loot, or like when we're doing 10-man and hard mode items are dropping, I'm the only holy paladin in there, obviously, so most of the stuff just goes to me. But yeah, I have been fortunate. As I say, my gear score is just ridiculous to say that it's only week 2.
That is
It literally
ridiculous.
looks like I've been GDKP in hard modes.
Yeah, that's nuts. Did you say it on the show or did you say it before the show started? What's your gear score right now?
So on the like obviously I've got a higher gear score set that I use because I'm using Demolishers on Flame Leviathan, so I can get to just under 5.1k in my higher gear score items. For Holy, which again, bearing in mind as Holy, I use a 200 eye level Libram still and a 187 eye level trinket and a 200 eye level trinket. So all, you know, that drags the average down, and I'm over 4.8k in Holy. For 4.6, nearly 4.7k in Ret. And then obviously there's my Druid as well. My Druid's like 4.6k in Feral.
Wow. Yeah, I thought I was doing good over 4.7k, and then my gear score set's like over 4,800 now, but you're killing me.
Yeah, but 4.7k is amazing. That's probably where the higher gear level in our, you know, excluding me, the higher gear score players in the raid are like 4.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm also using a 200 eye level trinket, and then yeah, I said I got Malice and Remorse, you know, in like what I've been doing, but I got the other one that's actually lower gear score, but it's 1.4 speed offhand. So I got that from 10-man last night. So that'll be replacing my offhand. So my gear score is actually going to be going down to 225 or whatever from 232 or 238.
I'm having flashbacks, Bob, to a previous episode you were kind enough to invite me to. And I'm fairly sure I said, wait till Wrath comes out and everyone's talking about gear score. And I'm sure I got so much shit for it. People were like, no, gear score's not going to come to Classic. Look at you now, all of you. Literally, all we're doing is judging gear on gear score. Like,
if I remember correctly, I was all like, I've always been the one that I thought gear score was a good tool. I always thought the link achievement was dumb. It's like,
yeah.
You haven't done. I mean, how do you do it if you have to link the achievement to do it? Like, you know, like
Right.
that's what I thought was dumb.
I think there was a lot more people with weird expectations back in original where they'd be like, hey, we need this gear score to run this heroic. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't need a gear score to run a heroic. Like even a Titan rune dungeon, you don't need a gear score for. Like,
well, just before coming on here, I was leveling a mage and I'm smashing it. I'm like level 4. But honestly, I've been going really hard for about 6 days on it now. And I saw a group looking for a 25-man, looking for more Ulduar 25 4.4k gear score, and it's like 4.4k is a little bit unrealistic in my opinion.
Yeah, like if they have a 4.4k gear score, they're probably not looking for an Ulduar pug. Like let's be real.
And especially when then you see a massive list of everything hard reserved. You know, it's like orbs, patterns, BOEs, fragments.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's like, well, why would I even go?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like not even a GDKP. Like it's just silly.
Yeah, I'm not a big add-on player, as you all know.
So weird, but yeah.
I do find myself when I'm on my laptop and I don't have Taco Tip to show me my gear score. I'm like, wait, what was my gear score? What is my average eye level right now?
It is weird that you can't see it anywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like just on the main character screen, you can't see it anywhere.
Yeah, so every time I get home, I'm like, oh yeah, what was my gear score again? I just put on a piece. I'm up to 4,600. That's it.
Well, someone on my Discord, not the guild Discord, has posted. I need to have a look at it. I keep meaning to look at it. He's made an add-on which is called Classic Modern UI, I believe it's called. And I've not actually looked at it yet, but he asked like for feedback. Have a look at this. Let me know what you think. But I have a feeling because it's the Kata UI. Basically, he's made like the Cataclysm sort of character pane when you open and look at your stats and all that. And I think that might actually have average item level baked into it. Not gear score, but yeah, average item level. But I'll have to have a look because that could be actually quite useful. It looks cleaner than the RAF character pane.
Yeah, I think that's when they added it because like they added it because they liked the gear score aspect, at least it appered they did because they added it to actual WoW, and it's still into this day, I'm pretty sure.
But it's that whole thing, isn't it? Where like I could whisper someone for a pug and be like, yeah, 5.1k gear score, and they'll be like, what? That's mental. Let's get this guy in. And then I actually put my real gear on, and it's like, oh, 4.5k or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's like my rogue just gets into pugs easy as pie. I don't even request invite, nothing. I just look at a group that has a tank and a heal, and I just send a message with 4.7 GS. Boom, instant invite.
yeah.
Yep.
So what is the
bug?
what does a 5100 gear score eye level look like? Is that like 28? Like, what are you thinking eye level wise?
I can't remember. I'm not even logged in, or I'd tell you. 220, 228, yeah, something like that. Obviously, I've got a lot of 239 gear, a lot of 25, well, a couple of 252 pieces, like 245 weapon. Yeah, there's stacked, mate, stacked.
Yeah.
But okay, so kind of wanted to talk about something that I knew was coming, but didn't really expect to be such a big deal. Is 10-mans are no joke now. I mean, with them buffing the hard modes like 12 to 13 eye level, I mean 7 pieces of my gear come from, like my BIS gear for combat rogue come from 10-man hard modes, and it's just like, wow, this is not what I was expecting, to be raiding this much and to be having to do 10-mans for the foreseeable future, because it's not just me, it's everybody needs these. And so it's just like some of them, so it's definitely weird for me. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? Like, are you happy, or are you like, oh shit?
I love it, but I weirdly prefer 10-man to 25. I really do prefer 10-man Ulduar to 25. But I've always preferred smaller raids, so I actually like it when it goes down to 20. Like when Mythic becomes 20-man. I detest, and I'm sure I've said it so many times when I've been on here and we've spoke about raid sizes. I hate nothing more than 40-man raiding.
40-man raiding is
it's
rough.
the worst thing.
Yeah, it's rough.
And 25 is good, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I find it hard to beat a night on Discord with the boys or the girls, Mel, like doing a 10-man. Well, you can really chat shit, have a few beers, have a laugh, still get through the content.
Yep.
I enjoy that. I enjoy the 10-man nights probably more than the 25. 25 feels like work, whereas 10-man feels like fun.
Yeah, 25. I feel the need to only say things in voice that matter specifically to the task at hand, because there's just too many people for conversation. But 10-mans, I feel like you can always just kind of chat up, and joke around and have some fun, so that's always been the case. But I do enjoy 25-mans the most, though, still, even though I don't have that piece. But it's got to be weird for people that were playing pretty casual, because I mean, it just went from, even casual guilds were, clearing, knacks in, one night, and now you go into 3 nights, if you're trying to get everything. Like, it's rough for a lot of people, I'm sure.
I like doing the 10 mans, but for boomies, there's like a ring that's your best in slot, and that's pretty much it from 10 mans. Everything else is 25. I'll still continue to go to 10 mans for all of phase 2. Like it's more fun than 25 man, yeah. But like best in slot wise, like we have a neck that's kind of like second best that's really good. The ring that's best in slot, and then there's some side grades, some like second, third best items in there. So it's still pretty good for us.
So but that's even worse for you, having to go to help other people get their biss. You have to go and just not having much to be excited for. That can probably be annoying too.
Yeah, I should be asking for like a prio for a legendary or something for having to go in there and typhoon Freya's ads.
I think the thing is though, on that comment, like for me personally, obviously I don't know how your guild handles loot, but Go is actually really benefit. If he was in our guild, he'd be benefiting himself massively by going in and helping people in 10 man, because if he's now got somebody who he's done 10 man with and they get a 239 neck or a 245 weapon or something like that, and then a 252 weapon drops that Go wants, you'd be like, well, it's a bigger upgrade for Go. He's going from, like a 226 to a 252, whereas the other guy's going to go from 245 to 252. So actually getting that loot distribution by getting the hard mode 10 man items, even if it's not for yourself, in the long term will benefit yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you're a loot council guild, and
yeah,
and we are now. We were for the entire time till Wrath. We were DKP, sorry, and yeah, we switched to loot council. It's way better, and attendance for the 10 man seem way better too, and that's probably a piece of that, right? Right there.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So for phase 1 for Nax, we had we're a 26 player like raid team. We only have one raid team, so it's kind of like a weird number for us to have 10 man comps. But for phase 1, we had like 2 Nax runs per week, and then now in Ulduar we're having 4 runs per week. We've got a lot more alts leveled up and stuff, but it's just crazy to have like one 25 man team and then 4 10 man teams because everybody's so interested in running the 10 mans.
Yeah.
Is this the guild with Mincy in that you're talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So really, you've got a 25 man raid team. Mincy don't matter.
Is he? Yeah, I don't even know if he's still in our guild. He hasn't logged on for 15 days since he's been progging on EU.
I think he went and done. He's enhancement shaman, ain't he, right?
I don't know what he's been doing all 3 specs for shaman. Yeah,
I think he done Iron Council hard mode progress with you guys from what I hear.
He finally came in Thursday. Yeah, he helped us tremendously with Iron Council hard mode because he said that you guys took 10-12 hours like to get it down.
Oh, easy. Yeah, easy. We spent one entire evening non-stop wiping. Like I say, we had more wipes on our Iron Council hard mode than every single boss in Ulduar put together.
Wow.
We almost had it in an hour, like with him there helping us, because our raid lead had
I've heard that from other people.
Yeah, we've really almost had it in 1 hour of progression.
Well, the thing is, ours wasn't DPS. Ours was like badly timed runes, a lot of like RNG with the tank literally getting infusion punched as a blue rune spawned under him. It took a lot of time for us to actually refine everything where we could control it rather than getting a lucky kill. Yeah, we've got to the point now where literally, obviously we killed Iron Council on Wednesday along with Prayer hard mode, Thorim hard mode, all of the other Flame Leviathan 4 towers, like all of that, all in one night now. But it was just we was more working it out as we went along exactly how we should be doing it, holding DPS off on Brundir to desync the Rune of Power when we kill it, for example. That was a big change. So we'd be calling to actually stop DPS into a new Rune of Power, so it would desync the Death Rune. Now obviously it's clean. Now it's just getting to phase 3 and making sure that no one dies to anything stupid, really. But yeah, that was actually arguably my most favorite boss in Ulduar now. It never was, but it is now because I loved how committed everybody was to actually getting it down. You know, no one wanted to go to bed. We'd been wiping probably like 40, 50 times on night one, and no one wanted to sleep. It was like, no, let's just carry on. But it got to a point where I was like, look, we're making it harder on ourselves by staying, because no one's got the level of focus and concentration that they had 4 hours ago. And then we went back the next day and we killed it. But yeah, it was probably really, in the grand scheme of things, compared, you know, when you think about all the other bosses that we've done in like quite quickly, you know, getting Mimiron down very quickly, getting Vezax down in literally a couple of pulls. It's probably quite embarrassing how long it took us to do Iron Council. But at the same time, I really do feel like it's made that made Ulduar for us, having that real big challenge that we was contemplating skipping it. Well, I wasn't. The guild was like, should we just do medium and move on? And I'm like, no, we're not doing medium and moving on. Not now. We've just spent, you know, like 8 hours wiping on it. We're not doing medium and moving on. We're staying. It either dies or we're literally going to have first reset without being able to kill Iron Council. You know, that's
Right.
it. That's the deal. It was great fun. I loved it.
Does it matter what order you kill them in, or does it just matter which one you kill last?
We know that. It just matters which one you kill last, because we were trying to do medium mode, and we kept trying to kill the small guy first, and then we were going to kill the big guy and then the medium guy. Well, the big guy just kept clapping the pally tank. You know, he hasn't been super lucky with gear so far. So I was just like, well, can we just kill the big guy first, then the small guy, then the medium guy? And everybody was like, no, I don't think so. And then we looked it up, and they're like, apparently it's just the last one you kill, it determines it. So we killed the big guy.
But the order matters. No, what I'm saying is the order matters, because when one dies, the other two gain abilities. So Steelbreaker needs to be the last to die, whether you kill Brundir first or Molgheim.
Yes.
You know, that's irrelevant. But you probably can't do hard mode without killing Brundir first. It would be, I'd say, in our levels of gear, it would be impossible to do hard mode without killing Brundir first.
Which one's Brundir? The big guy?
The small one, the littlest one.
Yeah. Well, see, we had all kinds of problems with that. So we just killed the big guy first, then the small guy, and then the medium guy. And that was, we got that down in like 2 pulls. But is that how you would do medium pull? Because we were getting clapped trying to kill.
That's exactly how I would do it. Yeah, you get Steelbreaker. Yeah, on easy or medium, you always get rid of Steelbreaker first, because you want to keep the Rune of Power. So you want Molgheim up for as long as possible to be able to still get Rune of Power. Yep. That's what I mean. That's why it does matter the order you do it in, because really, I'd say there is a fixed order. You know, if you're doing easy mode, you kill Steelbreaker first, then Molgheim, then Brundir. If you're doing medium, you have to do Steelbreaker first. You have to do Molgheim, obviously last. So now Brundir's got to go next. And for hard mode, you can't kill Steelbreaker without getting a decent Rune of Power going into phase 3. So you have to kill Brundir first. So while it seems like there's options, there's not.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. So, yeah, I was just saying, like, the loot and everything is just based on the last one to him die, was all I was saying. But you're just going above that.
You didn't get any hard mode loot, did you? You just got the disc.
We got the disc, and I think we got extra orbs.
Okay.
Pattern. I think we got a pattern or something too, or something.
Yeah, we got a pattern, I think, too, maybe.
I was just checking, because obviously you shouldn't get 252 gear unless you kill Steelbreaker last. But I don't know, because I've not killed Molgheim last.
Yeah, but probably a little more gear for us we'll need for that. But the mechanics we seem to have down, like, pretty good. Oh,
it's a great fight. It really is. It's very quickly became my favorite fight, which is weird to have Iron Council as your favorite fight in Ulduar, but it actually is.
I think I like Mimiron the most.
I gotta say either Hodir or Vezax.
Hodir for a boomy, definitely. Yeah. I mean, our boomies are doing like 20, 25k. On Hodir, it's immense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got my first taste of that on 10-man last night. I got 17k in a 10-man, and I was like, oh, what is this fight?
It's
this
so
game
good.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all those different buff things, boy, it can be annoying as melee. On Iron Council, Hodir, like, you'll get one of the buffs to pop down, and then you're like, oh, yes, the tank just takes it just a centimeter too far. And you're like, no, it's right there. And they can't really back it up, like it's such a pain.
See, the thing I find so impressive with Beef Bar in particular, I know loads of guilds have done, like very quickly cleared all the content, excluding XT hard mode. But what I find so impressive is that in such an RNG-filled environment, how they actually went in and I believe they one-shot absolutely everything, didn't they? And there is, when you really think about the bosses, there is a lot of RNG. So, these guilds that smashed it in an hour or 2 hours or whatever, they either really know the tactics like next level, or they got very lucky. Because like Mimiron, if you get unlucky and the spinning up that it does, in where it starts spinning round, we got very lucky on our first kill where every time it went to do it, it faced the wall. So no one needed to move. We could just carry on pumping. Whereas then we've had other attempts where there's fire blocking where we would need to run. So yes, pop a cooldown, run through the fire, absolutely. But it will be facing the raid. And that makes a massive difference. If all of a sudden, like 25 people have all got to move and you're losing all that damage, you've got risk of death from mines, risk of death from fires. And then Hodir is the same way. We don't go in and one-shot Hodir 25 man. We'll wipe a few times till we get the perfect pull where the boom is, the fire mages, are all pumping. And there'll be one pull where our fire mage there was one pull where both our DKs would have been rank 1 and rank 2 in the world. It was a wipe, and they were really angry about that, but they would have been rank 1 and rank 2. The next fight, you couldn't even see them in the top 6 or 7. It's just so RNG. And, when you think about all those things with Iron Council, fusion punching with a blue rune just spawned underneath him, or even an overload. If you're staying in for the first overload and using DSAC, but as you basically what the overload's about to come in, a blue rune pops up underneath him, it's game over. So to be able to do it so reliably, removing all that RNG, I'm really impressed. With these top guilds that have been doing it, because from someone like me who's done it for many, many, many years, it's amazing. I wouldn't have predicted it.
Yeah.
I agree. It was definitely a cool race. It's a bummer though when they don't stream. Yeah. I mean, you can see it afterwards, but during, is it's like a sporting event. Like I don't really.
Yeah, if I miss a game, I usually don't go back and watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch maybe highlights or something, but I'm not going to be bothered to watch it. So.
Well, we had, so we've got a Russian guild on our server, which Murphin, you might have even heard of Murphin. He's like a big war main, private server player. He's got an amazing week or a pack on his Discord and that for, I know most people use Thames, but we use a hybrid. We take the good ones out of Thames that we like and the good ones from Murphin's. And we put those together. And I mean, their guild, we just couldn't believe it. When we've got to, I don't know, I'm pretty sure we'd killed all the normal bosses. So on our night 1 looked like going in, killing all the normal bosses, getting the loot, and then splitting into 10-man hard mode groups, so we could get as much loot as possible before we then went back and went for Iron Council hard mode. And I think we was basically on Flame Leviathan 10-man and they'd killed Algalon. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Just the precision of everything they done was just immense.
Well, then you look at it and they're changing people out constantly, and the people that were getting changed in the whole time that they weren't in, they were busting through 10-man and getting all of the gear that they could before they got called into the main 25-man raid. So there was a whole lot of moving parts at one time, and that's what makes it even more impressive, and not just the skill of the players too,
And that's what's going to suck with Tok, because Tok is just such a rubbish. Well, it's not a rubbish raid. I like Tok, but I mean, in terms of a race, it's going to be over in 35 minutes. It's it's going to be awful compared to ICC is going to be amazing.
The 10-man point you just said, Bob, was something I hadn't thought about, that they had 10-man groups going during the 25-man to swap people in. That's sweaty, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great. We'd have done it if we had a roster that size where we could do that. Like, I'd have loved to have gone a lot more serious than we did. But we was just a lot more realistic. It was like, look, it don't matter whether we're first or last, as long as we get all the hard modes we want done in the first reset. That's
Right.
it. And basically we wanted all hard modes done in the first reset, except for XT. And Flame Leviathan, because we wasn't really bothered about Flame Leviathan. We've done it second reset, but
How much harder is it?
Flame Leviathan, it will be so much easier now if you go and do it than it would have been in night one, just because of the gear level bloat.
Yeah.
But it's not hard, to be honest.
Which is annoying, right?
Yeah, as long as you've got people on the demolishers that know what they're doing, and you've got a good rotation of shooting people up to do shutdowns, it is literally it's a free hard mode like right now. I wouldn't have said on night one it was. Because you're going in with like most people having maybe 400 less gear score. It would have been a bit different, but but now honestly it's a joke. Yeah, we'd never ever done it as a guild, and we one shot it.
Nice. Yeah, we haven't even messed with it because we just we want to progress on other stuff with, we basically want to do all the stuff required to get to Algalon first,
I don't think there's a ton of hard mode gear from Flame Leviathan that we really need in our comp right now.
Well, I mean,
there's some nice hunter items, I believe.
Yeah, there's
Boomy's crying.
It's the best fist weapon too, in the game there. So
like my honestly, like my advice, take it or leave it, would be next reset, Bob, actually just do it. I really don't think you have problems at all. Like seriously, it might extend your raid or slow you down by maybe 15 minutes. You might have one wipe and then you'll kill it. It really, really is easy.
And can you still heal in the hard mode, or do you have to actually watch your life? Like, can you still heal at the end?
I didn't know you could heal on normal.
Yeah. You go onto the little green platform,
little green light
right before the boss.
Players.
No, but you can't do that during the fight, can you?
No.
Oh, yeah, you can heal before it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
because that would make it a lot harder if you had to make it through and just destroy the two towers, and then use the health that you have remaining. That would actually be kind of challenging.
No, you haven't got to do any of that. It's honestly just put your best geared players as drivers in demolishers and get the loot.
I've heard you could even I've heard you could on private servers the driver could switch over to the passenger seat and grab its own pyrite and switch back.
You can do that. You can do it on here. I've got a script. I can send you a script. I do that. If my passenger dies, let's say I'm shooting people up, and the passenger dies, I've got a script where it literally jumps into the passenger seat, grabs pyrite, and then jumps back into the driver's seat with one button. And
you just have to click on the pyrite before you hit the button?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, send that to me, please.
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
because I'm one of the Debo drivers, so yeah, I would love to see that.
What's your passenger doing? If you're going to need to do that,
well, if I'm going to shoot them up for hard mode,
you'd rotate. So on hard mode, you rotate. So you have 3 people in a demolisher, because you can have 3 people in a demolisher. You have the driver get in, then you have the second person that's going to go on top get in and load themselves into the catapult, and then your passenger get in.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that. Okay, cool.
So then at the start of the fight, you'll shoot you'll shoot the guy up. You got to be careful, because when you got someone loaded into the catapult, you can't shoot pyrite. So the timing needs to be if you're the driver, you say load yourself in now, because you've just refreshed your pyrite stack, so you've got 10 seconds to kill. Then they load themselves in, you shoot them up, then the other person is now your passenger. When the bike goes and picks them up after the shutdown, they bring them back to you. Your current passenger loads theirself in. The person from the bike jumps into your demolisher. You shoot your current passenger up, and you just cycle through.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, in chat, Kohu's saying that there's 2 lock BIS items in on Flame Leviathan hard mode, but of course any non-lock says it's nothing worthwhile. Yeah, I'm a combat rogue, and I'm right there with you. Like the fist weapon's pretty dang good. It's got a socket too, you know. So yeah, I'm there. I'm there with you there. So.
Right. I can rephrase. There's nothing for a disciplined priest on Flame Leviathan hard mode, so I don't give two hoots about it. Okay.
Oh, skip it if Mel don't need anything. Then don't wait. Don't waste time.
Well, okay. So, like speaking of all the gear, like, do you think guilds are having problems with people trying to hold out for the hard mode stuff? Because, you know, the whole thing you talked about earlier with the whole, you know, this is a bigger upgrade type of deal. Like, do you think people aren't rolling on the non-hard mode BIS, or do you think everybody's
depends on your loot system? Don't it? It completely depends on your loot system. That wouldn't happen with us. We use that's my BIS. So the whole guild has got their BIS list made, like, you know, ahead of launch of Ulduar. We've done it slightly differently this time round because of the amount of loot. Where we've done a realistic BIS list, we've left the wish list open for 2 weeks. Now, as people are filling their slots in, they can now start doing their absolute BIS. But they don't get a choice. You know, if something drops and it's on their BIS list, they take it. If it's an upgrade, it will be forced on someone as an upgrade. You know, there's no like passing gear in our guild. If it can be used and it benefits the raid, it gets used.
Now that add-on, that's an add-on. That's my BIS. Is that the one you just did a video on recently?
It's a website and it's a Discord integration. So you basically link your Discord server to That's My BIS, so it inherits all the same ranks as your Discord server, and then everyone literally just adds the items that they want. You can do a prio system where you can assign all the loot ahead of time as well, which we done in tier 7. But this time around, we're just literally using that so we can see whose BIS item it is. So we then use RC Loot Council with it. And the options when an item drops is BIS, which is TM, that's my BIS, upgrade, off-spec pass. So if 2 people put BIS, we can very quickly see in-game that it is because there's an add-on as well for That's My BIS. It will then show in-game that it's on those 2 people's BIS list. Now we just need to loot council between the 2. Whereas if everybody just puts upgrade, it's not on anyone's BIS list. Most of the time nowadays, RC Loot Council's got an integrated rolling system, you know, where it automatically assigns a number to everybody that's pressed a button. So we just give it to the highest roller because it's like, well, it's going to get replaced.
Yeah,
it just doesn't matter.
You did a video on an add-on recently, a real short video on an add-on that like showed all the BIS and showed it in the tooltip and stuff.
A couple of days ago. Yeah. No, that's not that. Yeah, that's a completely different add-on.
See, I was kind of half watching that while I was making lunch, but I use Loon.
What do you mean half watching?
Hey man,
mate,
that just means
I expect to be main screen content, like, you know.
I mean, you were on
second screen.
Well, you were on the 75 inch, but I was concentrated on my veal, you know. So, but
that was a weird flex about how big your telly is. I just want to say,
I just got it.
75 inch, yeah.
Yep, I just got it. I just got it.
You can't afford.
I just got it. I'm so excited.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So. But I use Loon, which also does that, but I don't think it has the in-game little thing. Like it shows it in the tooltip, but it doesn't show. Like I don't think there's an option to look at like the 6 items in row on each of your slots, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a great add-on. I only found it recently, and it was more for for alts that I don't care about. It's like, you know, on the Paladin and the Druid, I know exactly what I want. But because at the moment I'm trying to decide on a third ult, and it's like I'm not really that bothered if it gets BIS or whatever. Yeah, I'm never going to take it that seriously. It's mainly for pugs. So it was just nice to have a quick reference. An item drops and I go, oh, actually, that's pretty good for me.
Nice. Yeah, I've been taking like my non-hard mode BIS, like, and I've been getting a ton of gear, so I'm just wondering if people aren't rolling on them stuff in our guild, you know.
The
Like
other thing, Bob, is if you don't, like, in all seriousness, I said this to the guild when they was like, can I add all 252 pieces to my bis list? Like, is that all right? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's fine. But seriously, in your guild, there'll be an item, probably, I'd actually more or less say 100%, that you'll never see. You know, in all of Ulduar, there'll be that one item that you've got like on your list, it's on your bis list, and it will never drop.
Yep.
You know, and that's what I've been saying to people. Be realistic. You know, like if it's a 20 DPS upgrade to get that item, but there's one that you know there's a lot more chance of getting, you might as well go for that, because you may never see all of those 252 items.
Yep.
Yeah, like at Kohu, what he just said in Twitch chat, he's raided every single week on 2 characters as well. He only got tied today in a 10-man.
Damn.
Literally, he's never got it, and he's raided since week 1 every single week. And he's one of our one of our main warlocks. You know, it's not like he's a social or anything. So shit like that happens.
Yep. Yeah, dude. I just take upgrades. Like if it's an upgrade, like I just take it. But I guess I have a lot more cash than maybe average people have. Like, but I enchant everything. Like I got this sword, and now I got the next sword 3 days later, and I'm just there, you know, another 1K gold down the drain for Executioner. You know, it's just like, but I mean,
if it gives you damage, you should take it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just a slight upgrade and it's not a big upgrade for anybody else, I will take it. Like, give it here.
For sure.
See, we use loot list, which is kind of like that's my bis. Like every single raider fills out a document and sends it in, and nobody knows like who put what on their list in what order. And then we were kind of like, the way that we had it set up, we were almost like forced to put the non-hard mode loot higher in our list, like a lot of those pieces up there, which was nice. Like, so when all these non-hard mode pieces drop, it's getting sent out to people that put it on their list, and that's been really cool. But then there's some items where it's like, yeah, like nobody put it on there, but it's still an upgrade. So then like we just kind of like roll it off and everything, but it's like, wait, why didn't you put this on your list? Like, this is a sick piece of loot.
Yeah, we categorize it as, like, we use RC Loot Council, and you can roll for like hard mode bis or non-hard mode bis, right? So even if we're not doing a hard mode, but including hard mode, this would be your bis no matter what. Just so we know, because there's a lot, like, we don't want to just wait for our hard mode bis items. That's unrealistic for everybody. So if there's nobody that it's their hard mode bis, then you'll give it to the person who it's their non-hard mode bis.
And
I think there's genuinely so much loot that there's no perfect loot system for Ulduar, in my opinion.
Well, and there's just no way to get everything. Like, I mean, you're talking about like one, unless you're killing Algalon, only one hard mode item drops from a list of like anywhere from 5 to 8, you know, like, I mean, there's going to be items you just never see. And yeah, if you're not prepared and letting stuff get disenchanted and stuff, like, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Is this a good time to talk about the fragment drop rate that we've had?
Yeah, shard luck was actually next on my list. Well, I think we have,
Perfect.
Mel, I think we have 3 in one raid and 1 in the other. Although
so.
we're doing our second lockout because we raid Saturdays just tonight. So, but maybe 4 in the main raid and 1 in the other one. I don't know.
I think we got 3. I don't know.
But it's not been the greatest
me,
for
so
us.
I don't like keep it in. Like,
It's just the same for us. We've downed Yogg twice, so we've got those 2 guaranteed, and then we've only got 1 extra from, I think it was a normal Vezex. So we've only had 3 out of 2 weeks. Like, we're done raiding for this week, so first 2 lockouts, that's all we've got is 3. And I know
we got more in our ult run.
Yeah, Scott's got more than like both of our raid groups combined, I think.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna, like, we haven't killed Yogg this week. We're gonna, because we want to do some Yogg 0 progress. So obviously we've only done Yogg +1. So we're gonna, but we've not even attempted Yogg 0. You know, we've not even had 1 wipe. So on Sunday we're going to go Yogg 0 for a bit, see how that goes, and then go do our hour on Algalon, which hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a kill. So I've still got one more guaranteed shard to come, and I'm on 7. So I'm 100% going to be, at least 8 this week. But the first week felt painful, as in I got one straight away. I'm fairly sure. I feel like I got one from Flame Leviathan. And then didn't see another one till like Mimeron or something. It was like them right towards the end where I actually got a second. But I got 3 the first reset, and I'm pretty sure I'm definitely gonna get 5 this reset, which I can live with getting 5. 5 a week, I could live with that. Getting like 2 a week, I'll re-roll Rare and wait for Shadowmourne. It's not worth it. It's not worth, like, my heart can't take it. Every time a boss dies and I don't see a fragment, it's just not worth it. Especially because like our guild is like the most super social guild you'll ever play in. I don't mean social as in we don't take shit serious. I mean social as in when we're not playing WoW together, we're playing Among Us. They was playing League of Legends earlier before I came on the podcast and I was watching them play. There's always 15 to 20 of us, or 10 to 20 of us sat in Discord playing stuff together. So we've always got cams on as well. Like everyone's got their cameras on, and so everyone gets to see my face when a boss dies and there's no fragment on it, because it'll be like, yes, come on, like really excited, and then
like, can you do your really excited
really
face again?
No, I'm not doing it because I know you probably enjoyed it a little bit too much, and I can't see what your hands are doing.
Well, I'm gonna guide my camera around if I have my hands up.
When the podcast is done, I'll show you my excited face in private chat. You will have to sign up to my OnlyFans, though, just FYI.
How much a month is it? $4.99?
It's only $4.99, mate.
Yeah. I got you.
Absolutely worth. But yeah, no, fragments. Honestly, it is. Like, obviously, I'm so excited to get Valinor. Don't get me wrong. Like, I literally can't wait. And I am. I slag the guild off a lot, like all of them. But that's what our guild atmosphere is like. We all love each other. But yeah, for someone like new to join the guild, they'd think we're toxic as fuck. They really would. But yeah, I am grateful that there's 24 other people. All also most of them probably hoping that a fragment drops. But it sucks when it don't. Like I want a really lucky week, in a couple of weeks' time, where you're seeing them quite frequently and you get like 7 or 8 in one run, just because there's people waiting in line at the end of the day. The quicker I get mine, quicker we can start making someone else's. But we've already got an alt paladin who's sat on, I think he's got 3. We've only done 1 alt run, and he's got 3 already. So we've started doing every Tuesday, we do a full normal clear. We're not even bothering with hard modes, just smash through normal with a 25-man alt run ready for in 2 weeks' time. We're going to start doing splits. So we're going to start mixing the alts and the mains so we can start focusing on 2 Valinors at a time.
And it's 30 shards, right, to make it?
30, right? Yeah. So when you think I'm on 8, once I get in double digits, I'm going to feel pretty good.
I mean, you're looking pretty good to me, but we haven't done a ton of hard modes though, too.
Yeah. So Scott, after hearing that Bob and my guild only have 3 after 2 weeks, are you still like saying that?
Yeah, I'm still
a good drop rate. No, it's still a good drop rate. Like this is how. Like the normal guilds, like Bob and I's guild, we're not like progressing 10 hours a day for 5 days straight. Is this normal for our type of guilds? Like,
you're still looking 10 weeks, Go.
We're
still
looking 10 weeks. Yeah, 9, 10 weeks.
Yeah, which is exactly what I said. 8 to 10 weeks. Out the guild that's done exactly the same as content as us on our server. So they've done every hard mode we've done. All they haven't done is Algalon. An XT hard mode. They got 7 in their first reset. I literally wanted to join their guild just to try and sabotage them, get guild leader and disband them. It's disgusting. Like getting 7 shards in the first reset. When I heard that happened, I was like, if I get 3 a week, honestly, 10 weeks, like that's really not that bad. But I'm so impatient, and I really am. Like, I want it now. I can't help it. That's what I'm like, but I'm like that with everything. You know, if I can order something on Amazon and it's going to come next day, or I can drive to the shop and buy it right now and it costs me an extra 20%, I'll go and buy it now because I want it. I don't want to wait till tomorrow.
That's what I did with the new TV. I freaking went.
75-inch telly that you've got on the wall,
dude. And they were like, "Well, you can order it. It'll be at your house, you know, within like 8 days." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna strap that fucker to the top of the the little mini SUV," and I did, man. I went to the hardware store, bought rope and bungees, and then I came and they brought the TV out. They helped me put it on top of the Jeep, whatever it is, Jeep. What do you have, Renegade? Yeah, and then I just roped it down. It took like 20 minutes to rope it down, and then I drove home slow with it. And I was like, "But I got it today.
I've got it today." Exactly. Yep. And that's what I'm like. So imagine, so on the basis we're the same sort of person when it comes to being impatient, and if you want something, you want it now. Imagine having to wait till those fragments get to 30 before I get my weapon. It's painful. It's painful.
How many inches was the TV again, Bob?
75.
75.
and he only half pays attention to me when he's got me on it. So I mean...
Hey, but that just means I have to watch it again.
Oh, thank you, mate. 2 views. Boom. Let's go. So I at least know that video will get 2 views minimum. That's perfect.
Yep. The best is when I put, it's between you and a few others, but I'll put on just one of your playlists and just go to bed, and then that's just getting you views right there.
I like that. Keep doing that.
Oh man. So, shard luck seems to be a little rough for the regular guilds. Now, a question in chat that I actually don't know too. I was under the impression that hard modes for sure drop a shard, but it's just a higher chance at a shard.
Yeah, it's like I think it's sort of about 8 to 10% higher. So, but it is still a chance. I did know. I knew off the top of my head exactly what the percentage chance was at hard mode, but I think it's like 10 to 18% or something around that. It's a higher chance, but nowhere near guaranteed. Like when it comes to that, it's a gamble, isn't it? Like technically, you've got as much chance getting one off of Flame Leviathan as you have hard mode Hodir, assuming that Flame Leviathan drops it and Hodir don't. It either drops or it don't. The actual percentage chance for it to drop for me is largely irrelevant. A full normal guild could get Valinir before a full hard mode guild, easily. If they've just got that little bit of luck on their side. But what you didn't mention, Go. So you said like your guild's only had 3 shards in 2 weeks. Who's getting it? I assume it's not you.
I want to first say that I voted for the Resto Druid because the Resto Druid has done some off spec like boomy stuff in phase 1. So I was like, I can live vicariously through this Resto Druid if they get it and they get to like DPS on some fights.
To go boomy.
Yeah.
Just for once, yeah.
Hey, can you give me your logout or login information so I can like hop on there and get a little taste? But I voted for the Resto Druid. They didn't get the votes from the guild because that's what they did. They did like a secret, like you don't see who voted for what. It was like a Google Doc thing. And it went to the Holy Pally. There's just too much Holy Pally hype.
Oh yeah. It does make sense. It makes sense if you've got a very reliable Holy Pally. That's what it comes down to. In some guilds, it won't make sense because the Resto Druid might be more reliable. The Resto Shaman might be more reliable.
Well, Resto Shaman is Mincy, and he hasn't been reliable lately.
Honestly, don't give Mincy any loot. Literally, like I'd have him lowest prio on absolutely everything. He is in our guild.
Yeah. But our Resto Druid also had like seniority. Like he was the only one that our guild formed in pre-patch of Wrath. And the Resto Druid is the only healer that was in the guild during pre-patch. The Holy Pally joined pretty like early on into Wrath, but still there was like 3-4 weeks that the Holy Pally wasn't in the guild. So I was like, yes, Holy Pally, the better healer to give it to, but like seniority, like Druid, I had to give my vote to the Druid. But yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's good that it's going to a Holy Pally. I genuinely do feel like Yeah, a good holy paladin really will make use out of it. It sucks. Like, I assume you're disc, Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah, our disc priest is actually in chat at the moment, Juba, and he is absolutely amazing. He's one of the few people in the guild that I praise publicly. Most of them,
Oh, wow.
I don't praise publicly. You know, like Santo.
He shields well.
He's he's a really, really good disc priest, and it sucks. You know, like that he isn't even being considered.
Yeah.
You know, for Valinir, it makes me feel bad every time he brings it up because he wants it, but he can't have it. You know?
Nope, that's how I feel. It's like I want it. It's shiny.
How do you feel about it in general? You're like, on the basis that you want it because it's a legendary healing weapon. Are you that bothered? Like, do you see the reason why you're not getting it? Like, do you sort of go, oh, yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean, I get it. Like, it definitely will help our guild more to have our Pally and our Resto Druid have it over me. And I get that. But, I mean, I get 4-piece first, right? If it's possible. So...
Yeah.
So Mel, how much difference is your second BIS compared to Valinir? Is it like a big gap? Like, is Valinir a huge upgrade from your second best in slot, or?
I mean, there's some argument that the Algalon weapon is better than Valinir for Disc Priest, but other than that, like the Staff of Endless Winter, I think it's more the proc on Valinir that isn't as beneficial for Disc Priest.
Yeah, it's worthless for Disc Priest. But like you said, our priest wants Staff of Endless Winter. That's I think that's what he's got his eyes on. But the thing is, it's like you give it to a paladin and then not replacing it till Kata.
Right.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And when you're talking, we're in phase 2 and we're not replacing it until the next expansion, it's really difficult to then say, let's give it to someone else. You know, it's the healers that can utilize the proc will literally be using it on Lich King 25 Heroic, where, you know, Disc Priests have got weapons from that. Disc Priests have got other weapons from ICC 25.
I hope that Blizzard doesn't change any eye levels or anything going forward so that statement holds true and that Valinir is the best in slot, because trying to justify giving a weapon to somebody that already has Valinir as their next best in slot in ICC because it got bumped 12 eye levels in ICC, no. You're not getting it. You got Valinir. You're sticking with Valinir until Cata Classic.
You got it because that's what you said.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
I'll tell you now, Go, and I'm not actually joking. And bearing in mind, there's a lot of people in the guild watching. If they fuck with the item level going forward in any other raid, I will be very tempted to go full time on the new Maelstrom server, which is a Cata private server that's coming out next month.
I hope they don't.
It's been pushed back a month. There's no need to touch anything else. You know, in my opinion, they've already. I'm not going to say they've ruined Ulduar, but they've definitely made it a lot easier than it could have been. You know, if we weren't getting all of this massive eye level buff, like I really don't want them to do that to ICC. You know, leave ICC as it is. The eye level, how they've got it is perfect. Well, it's not perfect. It could have been fine the way it was before, but you know what I mean? There's no need to buff TOC. There's no need to buff ICC eye levels. Just now leave it just to slowly creep up. We're going to have a slow creep in eye level, whereas, you know, now we've just had a massive spike in eye level, and that was what they wanted to avoid. They didn't want the big spike in eye level from Ulduar to TOC. Instead, we've had a big spike in eye level from Nax to Ulduar. So we've had exactly the same thing, but somewhere else.
And I'm exactly fine with that because I don't want to go back to Nax. This is actually completely fine for me. I just didn't like the massive spike to TOC because I just don't like TOC. And it felt bad to do all that work in Ulduar and then be like, what? Huh? Yeah,
and I get that. I absolutely get that. I think it kind of is irrelevant where the big gear spike is. It needs a big gear spike for ICC because ICC, if you think Ulduar's hard, ICC Heroic is going to be harder. So there needs to be that spike somewhere. Yeah, getting it earlier rather than later, fine, but don't now start buffing eye level and then making, you know, 25-man Ulduar gear, drop in 10-man so you can get Valinir's in 10-man, making 10-man Ulduar come from the next season of Titan Rune to fixes. Like, just leave it alone, please, for the love of God. Just let us enjoy the next 2 tiers without all this weird shit going on.
Well, I'm definitely down with them to do the next Titan Rune dungeons, though, because I'm assuming I'm not going to have all the Ulduar 10, hard mode gear. So it would be cool to have an opportunity to get those in heroics. Like,
go back to Ulduar 10. What's wrong with you? Go and raid. Go and raid for your it's called raid gear. It's not dungeon gear. If you want your 10-man gear, go and get it in 10-man.
well, but 10-man gear, if it's like it is now, like it won't be in 10-man, because now Nax just drops just 25 gear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't do that again. They should not do that again. Like, again, we all agree that Ulduar is a fantastic raid. Like, there's nothing. Tok is like a 35-minute raid. We're gonna have nothing else to do. So, like, when Tok comes out, they make Ulduar gear drop in 5-mans. That's really gonna it's gonna ruin Ulduar, because all people will do is 10-man in about an hour and a half. Boom, that's done. So you could literally do all content in like one night comfortably, and then just everyone's raid logging again. No, like, keep people going back to Ulduar. In ICC, if you want to do something that's fine. But then when ICC comes out, you get the catch-up gear in the Ice Crown dungeons. So, and that's 232 gear, I believe, that drops in the Ice Crown 5-mans. So they don't need that. That's what I mean. They've got the catch-up stuff already in place in later phases where they don't need to change anything. We're going to get Trial of the Champion that drops half decent epic gear, for starter gear. Leave that alone. Like, just for me, you've made all these weird changes for Ulduar. Don't do it again.
Let me throw something at you, Scott. So,
alert.
Yeah. So phase 1, we had 25 go to 10, 10 go to heroic plus. What if in phase 2 we get like 25 goes to 10, and then 25 also gets like bonus loot, but then the next affix for heroic just goes to Nax 25?
Yeah. I could live with that. I could live with that. Yeah, actually, I think that's a really good idea. But I still wouldn't have fragments drop in 10-man Ulduar.
Oh, no. We got to change that. Fragments need to drop. Dude, we're going to have 1.5 Valinir in phase 3 for our guild. Give me some extra fragments. I'm not going to get into that.
It goes like, give me fragments from heroics.
I'm not getting
I want them from
but for the
Nax.
guild,
I want them from 10-man Ulduar. I want them from
yeah.
I could meet in the middle and say, yeah, okay. So when Tok comes out, Ulduar 10 drops 25. Yes, now heroics drop 25-man Nax gear. I actually think that's a fantastic idea, by the way. Genuinely, I think that it's not even something I'd considered. I think that's a fantastic idea. But no, do not let people start getting Valinirs in 10-mans, because what are you going to do? You're gonna have your Tok teams going clear, and then you're gonna have like 4. You'll be working on 4 Valinirs a week. For most guilds, maybe 8 for the bigger guilds. But that's ludicrous. No.
And there's going to be the Yogg skip.
Go. No,
so you can go straight to Yogg and 10-man and guarantee a fragment. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not having that. We're not having that.
Straight to Algalon skip. Plus,
Algalon skip. Yeah.
Also, though, they still haven't ruled out the possibility of nerfing Ulduar later. Have they? I don't think they've said. I think they said they're still not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think once ICC comes out, I'd nerf Ulduar. I wouldn't do it before then. I honestly, with how they've already ruined Tok, by not being able to do normal and heroic in the same week, not being able to, dual equip normal and heroic trinkets, for example, or rings. I just no. Like, leave Ulduar as it is. The day ICC goes out, put everything in Ulduar post nerf. That's what I would do. Like, personally, at least let it remain a bit of a challenge, because Tok's gonna obviously make it considerably easier with the gear you can get from Tok. You got to remember, you get like, is it 264? It might even be 272 capes that you can get from Tok.
I have no idea.
I mean, 264 is like heroic sort of standard gear in ICC, and I'm sure the Tok 25 capes are on par with those, if not a little bit better. It might be 272, because you can get 277. Yeah, the capes. 272, go, you're nodding, is that right, yeah? You're muted. Yeah, but it was right. That's fine. He's still muted. But like, think about that. You're gonna have a 2/7. You'll be able to get a 2/7/2 item level cape in the next phase, and then you're gonna have all this 2/5/2 gear. You know, all the 2/5/8 gear from Tok. Like, Ulduar is gonna become very, very, very easy, even pre-nerf for the vast majority of guilds. So I think them putting it in post-nerf now makes it feel like Nax. Do you really want it to feel like Nax?
According to Atlas Loot, is 272 25 heroic from the Argent Crusade tribute chest cloaks.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's huge. So when Tok comes out, Ulduar is naturally going to get a hell of a lot easier.
True. I mean, it's just going to get easier week by week. But with that being said, like, what do we think the hard mode kill percents are going to be across all of the guilds? Are we looking at something even worse than, you know, like Lady Vash and TK early on before they nerfed it, you know, where only, what was it, like 40% of guilds had cleared both of them by the time they nerfed it?
Though, why do you need to nerf it? Like, the reason for hard mode is that it's harder, right?
Let's just talk if they don't
clear
nerf
the
it.
Content in normal mode. Like, I think they should base their nerfing off of how many guilds are clearing it in normal mode. And I think if anything, you nerf normal mode if it's like crazy hard and people can't kill it. But I don't think you nerf hard mode. I think the more gear you get, the easier hard modes get, and you nerf it, and it's just going to be a joke. I feel like that's just.
I think I mean, I'm with you there too. I think we all probably are with you there. Like, don't nerf the hard modes. Like, leave the hard modes like where they are. But or what I was talking about is, what do we think the guilds? What do we think all guilds are going to do as far as, you know, clearing hard modes, you know, before the end of the stage? Like, how, like, for instance, how many guilds do you think? What's the percentage of guilds that kill Algalon before Tok hits?
So for me, I think Classic's played wrong. So, like, you know, my YouTube channel, Go's YouTube channel, this podcast, you know, you have people like me on, people like Go on, you know, people like, you know, Rugs, whoever you get on here, you know, that clear content with a solid guild and get things done. Like, Classic's not really, like, that's a small percentage of the player base. These people like us, I feel, is a small percentage, and maybe a percentage that I actually try to ignore. You know, so when, like, I love Saf, you know, absolute great guy. His content on YouTube is top notch. But it's aimed at people like us. You know, it's aimed at people who are trying to min-max the shit out of everything and do more, you know, like how you can get a better pass by doing this, by using that. The vast majority of the community, honestly, don't give a shit about that. Like, actually, people just want to play the game and have fun, and they want to raid, and they want to raid with their mates who they enjoy playing with and have a good time, and they're almost happy that, well, if we can't kill this hard mode, who cares? We'll just do it normal because we're enjoying raiding. You know, it's old content, and it's like the race to world first. I've said it on here, I've said it publicly so many times. It's not a race to world first. It's a race to who's been doing it the most on private servers. That's it. Like, literally, you've been practicing. It's literally like a runner. It's like me going, right, I'm gonna try and beat Mo Farah in a race. You know, like, he does it every day of his life, practicing, ready for that race. And then I turn up with 8 cans of Carlsberg and go, let's go, boy. I'll see if you can take me. You know, it's not going to happen, and it's not realistic for even a guild like ours, who are like, we've got very competent players. But it's not realistic for us to try and race for world first, because we aren't putting that level of dedication in. You know, we want to do well. We're happy not to do PTR hard modes in progress. So I genuinely feel like the vast majority of people won't care and don't need it being nerfed.
Right.
You know, as in, just leave it as it is. The guilds know that one day, you know, might take, you know, we could be crafting Valinir before they kill Yogg +1. You know, they're like, but they will be happy progressing at their own pace, because Classic is meant to be a nostalgic journey, and, you know, it's about community rather than what we've turned it into, which is a pass whore, like, toxic environment the vast majority of the time, because we expect everybody to take the game as seriously as we do. I don't anymore. As in, like, I don't look at it like that, because I really, I want it to succeed. I want it to carry on. I want it to carry on past Kata. Like, Kata's going to be a bit of a sidestep. You know, like, Kata's going to be great. It's going to be fun, and I think people are going to enjoy it more than they think. But at the same time, like Mop, if we don't get Mop Classic, I'm going to be fuming.
Yeah, well, I
need a monk.
You're saying, like, okay, so yeah, I for a short time got like turned into that toxic guy at the start of Sunwell, and like I had to quickly realize, like, what am I doing? Like I can't expect this, you know, and so like I don't, you know, now, just like you, like, you know, and I wasn't that way before that. I just like, I guess, you know, having all the different guests on the show that are doing all this stuff, easy as pie and stuff, you know, I guess it like subconsciously got to me, and I got really toxic and had to like check myself. And like, I mean, you make a good point, you know, but I was just curious how many people will make it, you know, and I do get that mentality, because, you know, it's something. I do love it how Crix on Classic Life and Jordy would often say, guys, we need to like start talking about the, you know, the majority of people and not just what we do, you know, like, and Crix would always call out Rugs, and he's like, Rugs, not everybody's a super Wrath of the Lich King private server Jedi like you are. You know, he would yell.
That was almost a good impression, I'll be honest with you. It was it's nearly as good as what I'd imagine Go's impression of me is. Sorry, I did mean to answer your question, actually. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a massive percentage. But I genuinely do think that some are like Hodir, Hardmode. I don't think you'll see massive amounts of guilds clear. You know, like you'll see thousands of guilds, but if we're talking actually in percentage, you know, Mimiron, Hardmode, you know, these fights like Hodir, which is a massive DPS check, even though there's a lot of RNG involved. Mimiron, massive mechanically challenging encounter for the vast majority of players, no matter what you are with your melee range. I have to concentrate like shit, like just full focus on Mimiron. Because as a healer, it's very easy to be focusing on healer bars and then walk into a mine or do something stupid, you know. But I think, I would say, no, me neither.
Yeah.
I tell you, on our kill this week on 25 hard mode, I died and I blew our other holy paladin up at the same time. But I'll tell you how it actually happened. And it's only happened once, but it had to happen on the kill, where I had to own up in front of the whole guild. You know, I'm the one who's saying, you're doing shit, you're dying to this, you're dying to that, you fuck it, you know, like I'm raging at people. And then I done the most special thing of all, when I'd already wings. We're in the last phase. I've wings, and obviously I'm pumping heals, and I saw mines. I've got cut off by fire. I can see the tank getting out of range. So I was like, I'm just going to bubble and run through. Obviously, I couldn't, because I'd just winged. So I thought I'd bubbled and then rocket boost, and you literally just watch me rocket boost through and take everyone out with me.
And you still have Valinir Prio. This is amazing. But I've made like one mistake out of about 300 different pulls. So, you know, it's kind of acceptable. But it's nice, you know, to laugh about. I didn't even need to say anything. No one saw what I'd done. But you know, I do like, I call other people out, so it's only right that I call myself out when I do something stupid as well.
Fair.
I call myself out, and I noticed that I'm one of like the few people that do that, and I don't know if I should do that or not, but I'm just like, no, I you know, accidentally kicked first, so I had to stun, so the water guy didn't come with the other guy. We were trying to tank him. My bad. I was But you should. You need to take personal responsibility. It's the only way your raid's actually going to improve. Is it? Yeah. If everyone goes, "Oh, it weren't my fault," then where do you improve? If everyone's claiming they didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, and I feel like the more people the more people that do that, you know, like the better it gets for everybody. Like, because then other people could feel comfortable saying, "Oh, shoot, I screwed up here." You know, at least you know where the problem happened.
Yeah, who's the boss is like half of his body's out of the ground and he's got like the left arm and the right arm?
Kolagard.
Okay, so we were in our alt 25 man or a second raid, and I'm on my pally tank, and I haven't played my pally tank a ton, right? And we ended up pulling, and they were like, "Who pulled?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I was like, "Oh," I realized that my push to talk is the same button as my Avengers shield. And we were setting up the raid, and I had the boss clicked on. We were like setting up assignments, and then it was just like ding, ding, ding. And I was like, "Whoop, sorry." Yep, that was me. Took me a second to figure it out, but it's fine.
Yeah, we
But
were.
I did not fall off. Did you know, as the tank, you can fall off the ledge?
Yeah,
on that
yeah.
boss?
Yip
Yeah.
fell off the ledge.
Yep.
It was pretty
Good
good.
job,
It was
Yip.
pretty good. Yeah, I had a thing where I died like 3 times on Freya hard mode. They kept rezzing me, and one time they rezzed me right into a double beam, and I died immediately. Then they rezzed me
that
again,
happens.
and I immediately got roots and died. It was just like,
Yep.
I've troll battle res some people in our raids. I'm not gonna lie. Like on Thorm hard mode, it'll have like the electricity beaming towards a pillar, and I'll be stood there and I'll res them and not say anything, and then as soon as they accept it, the shoot from the boss comes out and
my
they
God.
die again. And they're like, I just got one shot again. Sorry, man.
Don't have
Wrong
accepted.
place, wrong time.
Oh God. Yeah, now whenever on any of the bosses, now I feel like you get battle resed and you're like looking around, you're like, all right, what's going on? Where am I at before I push this accept button?
Who rezzed me
coming
and where
out?
were they when they rezzed me?
Yeah.
But you never had to think about that in Nax, did you? You got combat res,
No.
boom, you'd get up now. Like,
You see
is
it,
it?
you
It's
click yes.
even that, exactly though. But it's a step up, isn't it? You know, you're even having to think about combat reses more.
Yeah.
I love the step up in difficulty personally.
I love
I
that
do
they
too.
reset your cooldowns too when you die on a boss, so you don't have that like wait time or like no heroism or things like that. I really like that.
Not
If
for,
I hear
not for
once
CR.
more, I was about to say, well, it's not that, but if I have to hear once more, Scott, can we wait 2 minutes for army? I'm kicking all the DKs from the guild. It's
Or
that
if you
or
see
fire
somebody
rally.
release like too quickly and you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, come on, like how long have we been doing this, dude?"
Yep.
just be like, I just have a weak aura that just the button doesn't appear until until it resets. So makes it
I
easy.
just wait for a res. I'm not even joking. I wait for a res, and then even if we don't need to change anything, I just pretend that I'm making changes. I'll be like, oh right, well, while you all run, I'll sit here and make sure that we're doing everything right.
I gotta work this out. I gotta look at the logs. Gotta figure out what's happening.
Yeah, and they're like, Scott, it's Flame Leviathan. I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
Well, after looking at the data, I've determined yes, that was fine. We were good.
Yeah. So res me and let's go again.
Yeah, we got this.
Now that you're here, just go ahead and rest.
That's all right. Chuckle always puts a soul stone on me, so I'm like always the one that like is just sitting there, and then I'll try to res a couple people, and they've already like they zone in like right before my res goes off, so I've just stopped trying to do that because that just annoys me. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, any parting thoughts on Ulduar?
Parting thoughts. Let me look at the bosses real quick. I don't want to just end it. A lot of people, they're just like, yeah, let's end it. No, I'm gonna look at the bosses real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, it's all right, mate. No one's got anything to do.
Yeah.
you do you.
Take your time. Take your time.
It's only what 11 p.m. over there in the EU, so yeah, you've got plenty of time. You're good.
Is it 11? No, it's not 11. I'm raiding after this.
God.
What are you
It's
rating?
We're going to do a
It's-
25-man Nax.
what? Yeah.
Oh.
It's almost 11, I think.
Oh, is it? Has it been that long? Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
I just feel like the podcast has been like 2.5 hours for the last couple months. We need to get like an extended version.
Oh well, I
So
still have to
I'm here for
do.
it.
I'm recording the progression, the hard mode progression.
Yep.
Segment with Yip here in like an
Okay.
hour.
So you got an hour. Go. Use it all. Use it all.
I got it. Let's go, boss by boss.
That's what Go heard.
Flame Leviathan.
Before I jumped on, but with Flame Leviathan, it's funny that you actually said that, because before I was on Discord with a guild and went like, I've got to go, like, going on the podcast now. And I said, when they ask like what our progression is going to be, what it's been like, I was going to say, yeah, we're slowly progressing on Flame Leviathan. I mean, the tank keeps dying, so we're now stacking like 18 Disc Priests and rolling pain suppression on the tank. But he still keeps getting one shot.
I wonder back in the beginning how many guilds just walked in and just like didn't even realize they were supposed to get in vehicles. Like when it first released back in Original Wrath. I wonder how many guilds
have tried it. They'd have tried it.
100%.
It was like
we was working out earlier whether by the time we're in full BIS ICC gear, if on 10 man you could actually do it without vehicles. I think it would be incredibly difficult, but it would be great fun at the same time, wouldn't it? To get Flame Leviathan 10 down with no vehicles.
Scotty, so the TOC dailies. Well, you get to a point to where you're supposed to go kill things like in, up in, that area, but it's like not at the camp. Well, turns out you're supposed to use a horse. You're supposed to like go mount on a horse. We were trying to we killed him, but it took us like 20 minutes to kill this one elite guy that was down there, and he kept charging in and then riding off. Annoying. And we're like, what is this mob doing? It's bugged.
Like, something's wrong.
And we finally killed it. We finally killed it. Like, it was like, dude, that was like an unbelievable elite mob. Like, it took us forever.
After typing out 17 bug reports.
And then we realized, we get on a horse and we kill it in like 3 hits. We're like, okay. Well, maybe we should have read the quest text instead of just following questing.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Doing those stupid things. You'll never forget it.
Oh, it's so funny, though. All right, well, I think that's going to end us out. I'm going to go ahead and start closing us out. Should I do an add-on of the week? And not this week. We'll do it next week. All right, guys,
who uses add-ons?
Taco tooltips can get shouted out next week. It's fine. This week don't matter.
We did Taco. I think that's where Go got it from. It's from our add-on of the week, right?
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, and then who was it? Jordy was on when I actually did the add-on of the week, and he was like, and he pulled it up and he was like, "Oh, this is a really cool add-on." Okay, it was like, "Ah, nice."
See, not everybody knows.
Right.
I was trolling. I can't believe that was actually real.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to email us, the address is wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the Mash Those Buttons Discord, it's mash.gg/Discord. How can you help the podcast? You could leave ratings and reviews on iTunes or Spotify. You could like, subscribe, and click that bell on YouTube to help us grow there. And you could join our Patreon, which is just at Warcraft Reloaded, and link will be in the description. You could buy a guide for Classic or for retail and soon other games from Rested XP using code RELOADED. Link in the description as well. And yeah, that's the way you can help us. And just tell your guild about us. Like that's a great way to do, just give us a little free advertising. All right, Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Benediction on Melrina.
That's the lamest one ever.
I know, but that's really the only place you can find me right now. So
all right, fair.
That's it.
And
you
Go.
got other tune names though. What are your other tune names? It's
no, you can't find me on those though. Nope.
No.
Okay. I don't want people finding me on those. I'm not, not as skilled on my prop pally. So, I don't want them to see me in like the group, like looking for a group and be like, oh, that's Mel. Nope. Don't invite them.
It's Bob, ClassicGho, and Melorina. No, I'm not joining that group.
I've heard them talking on the podcast. That doesn't sound good.
Go. Where can we find you? You since you were last on the show, started a podcast. I think that was after you were on the show, but yeah. Tell us about your podcast and where else we can find you.
You can find me on YouTube at ClassicGho, which is ClassicGho. And if you just type in like Classic Boomkin, you should find me. Like, no problem. I'm going to be trying to get out Ulduar, like parse tips for Boomy specific, because that's what I am. That's all I main. That's all I play is Boomy. And I did start a podcast / talk show recently with a buddy of mine, Grifton. He's a feral druid, so we have a feral druid and a Boomy. We don't really have like a resto. There's not really resto content creators out there. I've been trying to like look for one because a lot of Boomies are trying to like off heal and stuff for Ulduar that could continue in ICC. So if you're like a resto druid and you're interested in coming on the show, contact me. I have my druid Discord in the description of like most of my videos. So if you can get a hold of me anyhow you can, please do, for resto specifically. But yeah, I'm on YouTube only pretty much. I do stream like once a month, kind of like Scotty on Twitch. And sorry. So I don't really stream on Twitch too much, but it's mainly on YouTube. And I'm just a balanced druid, and the podcast is about druids and how you can play your class better as a druid, as a feral, or Boomy.
Awesome. And Scotty, what about you?
Well, I do raid on a druid every week, and where you won't find me is on Ghost Podcast because I've never been invited.
Searching for a resto druid. Does anybody have any idea?
I'm just putting it out there that no, I play feral, but on a druid podcast, not even to have an invite yet. It really feels like a sword to the chest. But I'll go down the Melarina route. You can find me on Theckle, on Phallus, Wig Billy, Paul Smenus, or Wat Philly. I'll let you work all those names out. You can find me on any of those. And of course, Scottejaye on YouTube. And once a month, as ClassicGho decided to pop out there for no reason whatsoever, you can find me on twitch.tv, Scottejaye87.
I think Go is just once more Scotty is all, I think.
Yeah.
I just hope he enjoyed all my characters' names there, because I think some of you might need to think a little bit more about them. I mean, Phallus is my druid, though. I do love my Phallus. He's a Tauren as well, so he's a big Phallus, to be fair. I love him.
And Harry.
There you go.
A hairy big Phallus. What a way to end a podcast.
And you can find me
with hardcore
on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. And you can find me on Twitch at BlazingBob. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me again.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Bye. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.